Welcome to Smashing Heads Podcast. My name is Zach. As you'll see as we go into the video, Jake is along with me at the beginning, but you will notice that Hannah is not with us. Don't go anywhere. She comes in about halfway through. This is an insanely long podcast. We recorded with Wes for over 3.5 hours, and Hannah comes through, I think, almost in the dead middle of the podcast. So she comes in. It's just we had some scheduling issues and things like that. One thing I do want to talk about up front is this is not your typical challenge interview. We have an interesting relationship with Wes, and I don't know how to say it other than that. You'll kind of see as you get into it. If you're new here, give it some time. If you haven't listened to our last interview we did with Wes, which was about 2 years ago, it ended up being a two-parter because it was almost 3 hours. That's where a lot of the first half of this interview comes into play. He just wanted to deep dive and psychoanalyze and basically try to use his manipulation tactics on Jake and myself. But again, you can kind of see that as it goes along. If you are wanting challenge-related stuff, it is there. It just takes a while. You'll kind of see how it goes. One thing I do want to plug real quick before we get into the podcast is patreon.com/smashingheadspodcast. It directly supports the show. We have a great community over there. We have a few different levels. They always get these interviews early. They get to ask questions. They get them ad-free, all that type of stuff. Plus, they get all of our normal weekly recap stuff ad-free. So check that out if that's something you're interested in. And smashingheadspodcast.com/store takes you to our web store, which I believe we talk about at some point with Wes about merch and things like that. But if you see him wearing a Smashing Heads shirt, that's obviously where it came from. So follow us on social media at Smashing Heads on Twitter and at Smashing Heads Podcast on Instagram and Facebook. Other than that, I will say if this seems weird, just give it time. I think you'll have a lot of fun. I know our patrons especially are going to love it. I hope everyone loves it because it's unlike any other interview we've done, as I said, and we just vibe with Wes on a level that I don't know how to replicate anywhere else. So the challenge stuff does come later. You need to skip around. That's up to you, but I would say stick through it. It is a unique experience. Do you want to intro this?
Do
you want to? I'll let him intro it. Yeah.
Are we leaving this in, or are we just from the top right here?
Just get into it.
Oh, man. We are here, boys. We are here tonight. And ladies, do we have a treat for you? It is a boys' night for one. My name is Zach.
Nope.
Wow. That's so weird. I said that I was you. My name is Jake. This is Zach, which means you have to say my line.
How's everybody doing tonight?
And we are joined by none other, the return, Wes Bergmann.
It's been 2 years.
That's 2 years too long.
I agree.
So before we get into that, I actually emailed you in August because I was traveling right through Kansas City. We were driving out to Utah. And I believe I caught you right when you were going into, or you were going to be in quarantine for 36. When did that film?
I don't remember the exact dates. I have this funny feeling that I might have been in Tulsa, though.
Oh, really?
I don't remember, but I do remember not being in town.
Yeah, you said you were going to be out of town, and I was like, oh, it's probably something to do with season 36.
So what I have to do, though, is before I go to leave for a big show, I have to shower my clients with attention. Mm-hmm. And so half of them are in Oklahoma. So there's a good chance that I was like, if I remember correctly, I spent the majority of the last couple of weeks in Oklahoma.
We've been to Oklahoma a few times.
Yeah, so my sister went to college in Oklahoma. His brother went to college in Tulsa, both of them.
I bet I can guess where they went.
Probably they were in the tournament this year.
Yeah. Oh, are you? I was I'm aware.
I grew up going out. My sister's 7 years older than me, so I went out to Tulsa a bunch, and then his brother ended up going there just randomly. And his brother might still live there. We don't know where his brother's been. We haven't seen his brother in about 5 years, even though he used to live with me. It's a real weird story. He might be in Tulsa. Maybe you're working with him. Maybe that's what's going on.
One of those usual, he got married and his wife robbed him of his personality kind of stories.
Oh, I hate when that happens.
Yeah. She sucked the soul right out of him.
Oh, don't talk like that. It's pretty inappropriate.
Here's the thing, though. He actually used to watch the challenge with us back when we were like 15 and 16, and he has no idea that we do this podcast.
That's his loss.
It is.
Yeah, so he's either in like Dallas or Oklahoma or Canada. He was in London for a minute. We don't really know. He's all over
Those
the
are
place.
fairly wide range of options.
Yeah, I mean, we know he's probably in the northern hemisphere, and that's about it.
I don't. He didn't even call to congratulate me on my divorce 3 years ago.
That's true.
So,
He may not even know he's divorced. If we're being honest.
That's not good. We should work on that.
Yeah.
So Wes, last time you were here, which again was like 2 years ago, I believe you were going to make a dating app for Jake specifically.
I'm glad we're getting into this. Yeah.
I feel like you haven't had any development on that. Either that, or you've just been laying real low.
Yeah. You know what? I need an update on your dating life, Jake.
It's very complicated.
And we'll go. Oh, good. I like complicated. Full disclosure. So because of when I would listen to your all show would be in my drives to.
Yeah.
But I just haven't. And because of COVID, I haven't done them.
I've worked from home for the last year and my podcast listening has plummeted.
Yeah. And yeah, because it's a driving thing for me and I just haven't been driving. So I'm behind on virtually everything. So if you've been leaving a breadcrumb of information across those podcasts regarding your dating life, I'm sorry I'm not up to date. So I would love the 411 on what's going on with you.
Where do you want me to start, Wes?
The beginning.
The beginning.
Okay, so I would say we typically reserve this type of talk for Patreon because that's more of like semi-challenge related, but also off-topic stuff.
No, it'd be off topic. It'd be off topic if we, as in us three, on boys' night, didn't discuss both of your guys' dating life.
Well, I don't have one. First of all,
well, that's not a very good husbandly duty.
Well, I'm saying like
the best advice one can give is to date your wife.
Yeah, amen.
Yeah, let's take the advice from you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you could take the advice from me. Anyone that's listening to this, but either gender. Date your spouse.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I was saying I don't have like an active dating life outside of that because I'm married.
Fault.
Outside of it?
Oh yeah, no, you should not do that.
Yeah. So what I was saying initially, we do actually talk about his issues, but it's typically for Patreon because that's more off topic. But
well, this is a special occasion.
It is a special occasion.
It is. It's funny that we bring this up because I actually when we last podcasted and recorded with you, I had actually sent you the girl I was talking to at the time. I sent you her profile.
I remember. She was out of your league.
Oh, yeah. That didn't work out.
Yeah.
I DM'd her. She still talks to me.
That's a man. I don't know how much you want to get into on this.
I'm just joking. I didn't DM her.
No.
That'd be totally fine. Let's just say that didn't pan out.
Nope.
Why? Why?
I don't. No one really knows.
So I think we know.
Why
are you guys not being authentic to your listeners?
Can I tell it and I'll be gentle with it?
Yeah.
It's not gonna hurt me. This was like 2 years ago.
Apparently she thought he like came on too strong and it got to the point where she told us that she was moving out of the city and she did not.
Wow.
Because I go to a chiropractor and I've seen her.
Hold on. I think I need to take notes on this, right?
Oh, yeah. Grab a pen and paper.
Okay, we're gonna have to use fake names.
And he took his headphones off, so you're stuck with us right now.
I mean, he's wearing a Metal Militia shirt, which throwback to the X Games.
A Metal Militia cutoff.
Yeah.
Shirt.
Oh, he's showing off the arms tonight.
The guns are out.
He also has a 24 pack of Modelo that he pulled out of God's freezer or whatever his mother-in-law calls it, which is his garage. If you're not watching the video version, he just opened the door and gave us the one moment finger. I will defer to you more on this stuff, how much you want to talk about.
Listen, I'm an open book.
I know you are. He got glasses and a notepad.
I stand by everything that I've done in my dating life.
Wes, do I need to get my glasses on?
Well, this is my therapy look.
Okay.
And so, all right, hold on. Had quite a few clients today, so.
Yeah. Are we assuming that I need help?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yes, definitely. Okay, so this first girl, the problem was that Jake came on too strong.
If you want to put it that way, I don't think I did. I bought the girl a coffee a couple of times and took it up to her work. If you want to call that coming on,
were you invited to her work though?
No, but it was a pleasant little surprise. I knew where she had worked, and it was like how long in was it?
It was like a block from his house, and he had to drive by it every day.
Yeah. So it wasn't like out of my way. It wasn't, it was very much, hey, I was on the way home. Here's your coffee, because she worked late some nights. So if you want to call that coming on too strong.
Maybe. I'm not here to judge. I'm just here to ask questions and,
I kind of forgot about her, if I'm being totally honest. That's how long ago it was.
So you came on. Okay. And then she had to lie.
Yeah, she was trying to ghost me. I mean, that's what it boils down to. She was trying to ghost me. And then there was one last little interaction with her where she actually yelled at me.
I don't remember this.
Why?
And that was that. I was done with it after that. There was no more interaction after that.
Well, why'd she yell at you?
There was actually she blocked me on Facebook too. None of us have an explanation for that one.
Well, let's do one topic at a time. What did she yell at you about?
I had taken coffee up there, and what was it?
I don't remember, man.
It was the last time I had taken coffee up there. And again, it had been a couple of times, so this was the couple time. And I don't even remember the context of the situation.
It was like 2 years ago. Like, it was not long after we recorded with you. So a lot's happened since then.
Well, we'll get there.
But look, I'm not gonna lie. I was really into this girl. And I just asked, if we could get together, and she just was like, "You cannot do this. You cannot just show up at my work." And I'm just like, but here's the problem, Wes. Here's why I did the little things like that, is because this girl went out of her way to express how into me she was. Had she not went out of her way to express it,
give me an example.
I really like you, and I really want to see where this goes with you, but I have some stuff going on in my life right now. And so since I know, that there are mutual feelings there, then I'm going to do the little things to try to cheer her up. That's purely what it was to me. I wasn't sending her flowers. I wasn't, whatever. Right. And so I left her a coffee at work.
What does she do for work?
You've seen her recently.
And I did. Yeah, I've seen her because she works at a chiropractor that I went to. When I was supposed to swing by Kansas City to go to Utah, I completely messed up my back in Utah to the point where 5 months later, I'm just now feeling normal again. So she's still in town. I've seen her multiple times.
I actually told Zach he should ask how the move was.
Yeah. So, I just decided not to.
It's a funny story now. I'm not hurt over it. It happened. It's fine.
Okay. So what happened next?
Can I interject real quick? For anyone listening to at this point, we will talk about challenge stuff eventually, but Wes just likes to roll in and get really involved in our personal lives, which is fine with us.
Yeah.
But there will be some challenge talk.
And I'm an open book. Let's be honest.
Yeah. It's kind of hard for you to guarantee there will be some challenge talk.
I've got to guarantee a little bit of it.
Kind of hard to guarantee that.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, after that situation where she yelled at me, that was it. There was no more communication.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. No more. Chronologically, then what happened?
Oh man, what happened?
Because maybe you started dating someone else.
He did. He did.
Yeah. So I'm looking for. I'm looking for
the big one.
Like figurative or literal?
The most recent one?
No. The one that Challenge Mania. You know how that works in Nashville. They did a Nashville one.
That is the most recent one. What are you talking about?
Well, I thought you meant the current
one. All right. Yeah. No.
I've got my Challenge Mania koozie.
Yeah, we're good friends with them. We went to the Nashville event.
We got to get you a Smashing Heads t-shirt you can cut the sleeves off of.
That'd be sick, right?
I'll do that. Let me make a note.
Okay, so and that was the one, like Maddie Lynn was at that one.
Big Easy,
Kendall, Tori Hall.
Got it. Okay, so you guys went there, and you even met up with your patrons.
Yes.
He's jumping way ahead though.
Huh?
He's jumping ahead.
Am I?
Yeah. Well, there's the off and on thing. There's the off and on thing with the girl who was next door to me.
That doesn't really count.
One of your
Why
favorites.
not? I think this. Oh, next door, huh?
So
tell me about her.
Zach and Hannah are not fans of this girl at all.
But you're not either now.
I'm not now because I got to know this girl quite a bit.
I've known her for like 12 years.
But I like to refer to her as a chameleon. She's whatever she needs to be for the kind of people she's around.
Yeah.
So she'd be good at the challenge.
No.
Actually,
She'd be good for drama for the challenge. Yeah.
Not athletically.
No.
That's not there for her.
Because she's a big girl?
No.
He
was
no,
talking
Oh,
about
the big one's coming up
There's
next.
a big relationship here that we're gonna get into.
Oh,
Which,
but she's not a big
No.
girl.
No. That's not how we meant that.
She's figuratively big.
She's a
Not
big personality.
She's a lot.
Okay, but
Yeah.
stick with the girl next door though.
She's a lot. So this girl has actually admitted to me as recently as 3 or 4 months ago that she actively kind of stalks my social media pages to check up on my relationship status, because typically when a breakup happens or I stop seeing a certain girl, she either drops in my DMs or just so happens to drive by my house. Like it's like clockwork.
Or she sends her kid over to your house.
Yeah. Or her kid shows up at my house. But
how does that make you feel when you hear that she's stalking you on social?
It's pretty. I mean, it's what I would expect from her.
To an extent, I'm flattered.
Wait, Zach, how do you know how it makes him feel?
No, but I didn't mean I'd know how he feels. It's just what I would expect from her. Because again, he's known her for as long as I have, because I dated one of her friends back in the day. And
so you do have an active dating life.
Well, 12 years ago, sure.
She's very attractive, but she's one of those, the more you get to know her, not so much.
Here's what I'll tell you. At one point, he came to Hannah and I.
So a hot chameleon.
Do you want?
Sure.
Yeah. I was gonna say, do you want to see a picture of her? But this is
video.
Yeah,
it's video.
So never mind.
At one point, he went and sat down with Hannah and I at a restaurant.
This is a lot.
It is not a lot. I wish
a lot.
Hannah was here. We've talked about it many times. He basically said that because we were like, hey, this girl's not good news for you. We know her. We've known her for 10 years at this point. And he basically said, if I had to choose between pursuing her and our friendship, I would have to side with her. And Hannah cried in the car after.
That's not true. Wes, here's what I said. I said, you guys are going to put me in a situation where I have to choose. And I said,
this is
that's
with the girl next door.
Yeah.
The literal girl next door, not the figurative one.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I think they're the same.
Mm-mm.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, she's literally,
No, yeah, it's both. She's literally and figuratively.
Not anymore. She
moved. Wait, no. She's literally the girl next door, but figuratively, she's not the girl next door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's a crazy hot chameleon, which is not a girl next door.
No.
Right.
No. And there's so many other things that we just can't even say on air.
Yeah, you can.
No, we cannot. I promise you, we cannot.
Because somebody would figure this out.
Yeah.
Somebody may figure it out. I don't know.
So that wasn't really like a relationship thing.
So there, I'll be honest with you, Wes. I wasn't the healthiest individual last year.
Mentally or physically?
Mentally, emotionally. You can even loop spiritually in there. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna
basically everything but physically.
Everything but physically. I've been relatively good health physically, other than my back recently. But
all of us with back issues.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
Mm-hmm.
So I happened to meet this girl, who I went out with. We went out on a date. It was the end of 2019, November 2019.
I don't remember.
And anyway, from the get-go, it was kind of uncomfortable. She wasn't real outgoing. She didn't have a whole lot to say. Very, very weird kind of.
Almost like step by step what his ex-wife was. Like personality-wise was so identical.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh no, it's another one.
But here's what I'll admit, Wes. Again, I'm an open book.
But now we're on to the big girl.
Yes. She's actually really small.
Yeah, but we're calling her the big girl until unless I'm given a name, I've got nicknames.
I can't give you a name.
Yeah, we can't.
I can't give you a name.
But we can call her the big girl.
If you're at Challenge Mania Nashville, you saw her.
Yeah, if you were at Challenge Mania Nashville, you know.
Why?
Because she was there with me. She was there with me. But so that was in January. So I'd started seeing her 2 months prior. But here's the thing, Wes, I was a very lonely man, and I was willing to make exceptions for what I allowed into my life. And
Was she as hot as the girl next door?
I thought she was hot. I'm gonna be real.
I'd say no.
I thought she was hot.
I'd say she might be the least attractive of all of them.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. I don't. She made me feel good about myself. It's just it was good. And so
can I tell you like what kind of like details we were in? Like, so we again, like you said, we had patrons come to Nashville to hang out with us. Mm-hmm. So we were supposed to get dinner the night before, the Friday before, with a lot of them, then go do like an axe throwing thing together, and then go to we went to like some bars just to hang out. And then the next day was the show. Jake and I opened the show with them. Like we were the musical guests, I guess. And Scott sang a song. And so we go, and because his girlfriend at the time, he did not go to dinner with us. And so it was just Hannah and I with a bunch of our patrons, which was fine. And so then they show up at the axe throwing place, and then we go to the bars after, and they stay for maybe like 10 minutes, and then they're out. And then so the next day we go to the show, we hang out, whatever. And we were going to like they do the after parties after the shows, and the shows are like it's in the middle of the afternoon.
Uh-huh.
So like we had plenty of time. So we all go to the after party where everyone's hanging out, and her and Jake just don't go. They don't leave Nashville. They just go somewhere else. And a lot of our patrons did not enjoy her, to say the least. Also, she was very shut off from everyone, and it's just her personality. Like, she's not the most friendly. And so they got a bad feeling about her right away.
Rightfully so.
Rightfully so.
Rightfully
and the patrons tend to be right.
They do.
They
do.
Yeah.
It was bad news from the start. We were together for about 7 months. She didn't treat me the best. I think that's an understatement. And so I went to her and I was just like, hey man, like if you can't change things up here, like this is over.
Hey man.
and so anyway, we wrap things up, but then that's not even the end of the story. So I'm in the process of trying to get over, but I'll be honest with you, Wes, I fell in love with this girl. All right. I did. I fell in love.
That shocked him.
I fell in love with this girl. All right. And so we break up in June, and I start getting phone calls from like her parents, her friends, her sisters, of just all of them just being like, we are so sorry. Like, we don't know what's wrong with her. We don't know what her deal is, which I've never seen before. I guess they thought I was just this perfect kind of godsend kind of guy once in a lifetime, which I think I am. Wes. I think I'm a once in a lifetime.
But compared to her friends and her past relationships, like she was living in like a dumpster fire essentially.
Yeah, she's a disaster. And I don't mean that as a shot towards her. She's a literal disaster. Yeah. She just is. And so so about 2 weeks goes by, and she calls me up crying, telling me she still loves me. To which I'm just like, all right, well, maybe I need to hold on for a little longer, which it sucked me back in. And then, we talk a little more, and then we stop talking again because I'm like, I got to move on.
By the way, can I just say, he had told Hannah and I like how devastated he was, and like
I was crushed, man. My heart was broken.
And like, hey, make sure to check on him. So we did. Like, we made sure he was okay, but he kept all of this a secret from us that he was talking to her again. And yeah.
So here's the next thing that happened about a month after the breakup. I'm at work one day. I manage a kickboxing gym, so I'm just kind of hanging out. And she just walks in the door out of nowhere. Had no inclination she was going to show up. Hadn't talked to her. And she admits to having had sex with a couple of guys over the last month, which she wanted to share with me. I don't know.
That's what you always
wait. So are you saying that it's a little weird when someone that you're maybe dating, maybe not, shows up to your work?
So we were, but I had mentioned to her that I needed to move on, that I had to move on. Like I said that to her and everything. And so I'm in the process of moving on. And then she just shows up at my work and she's like, I've been talking to these other guys. I've been sleeping with them, but I still love you.
Mm-hmm.
And,
I think
because you are in fact a godsend to women.
You think so?
I do.
Wow.
There's the word of the Lord right there.
So
am I wrong?
I don't think you are.
Okay. Well, then we're all in agreement. We can move on.
I don't think you are. So anyway, we actually started talking again for about a week.
All in secret again.
All in secret.
Of course, yeah.
And she started doing the same old stuff after about 4 or 5 days. And at that point, so when we were together, she had one of my TVs at her and her roommate's place. That was the last thing she still had.
Slow down.
Yeah.
One of your TVs, like one of your televisions.
One of my televisions.
Oh, he almost bought her a car.
I almost bought her a car with.
And like in his name that she could have defaulted on so fast.
You didn't even buy her a car. Even worse, you got on a loan for a car.
He almost did.
Yeah.
Okay, but your TV is at whose house?
Her and her roommate's place. They had an apartment together. They didn't have a TV at the time. And this was like, she had moved in with this girl in January. So we're like, it's all pretty fresh at that point. So I'm like, hey, I don't use this TV. Take this TV. And so she still had that TV.
I feel like that's concerning you.
Yeah. The TV seems be a real sticking.
There's a lot of things that are concerning me.
So anyway, I decide, like, I call her up and I'm like, hey, and I didn't even mention, while we start talking again, after she had showed up at my work unannounced, I find her on Twitter, like, overly flirting with this other random guy and alluding to having had sex with him too. And it's all while we're talking again. And I called her out on it and she's like, you know what? I don't even need this right now. And she did like that whole thing. And so anyway, I call her up and I'm like, all right, I'm coming to get my TV. We're done. Like, this is it. And so I go to get my TV and she starts kind of pouring it out again. She's just like, I never meant to hurt you. I never meant to do this. I'm like, all right, well, at some point it's not a coincidence anymore. It's not an accident anymore. Like, you're just doing it. And that was it. That's the last time we've talked. Now, a month and a half went by and she has what's called is it a Finsta, a fake Instagram account?
I didn't know this term until, it's basically just a fake account that you use to like stalk other pages.
And she was like showing up on my Instagram stories. So I had already
the fake page.
Yes.
Yeah. Cause I had all her social media stuff blocked. And then I noticed she's showing up on my stuff regularly. So she's still like peeking in every day.
But it's her profile picture on her fake page, or how do you know it's her?
Yes.
Was it? I didn't know that. I thought it was just he knew.
So she basically posted like real kind of drunken ventures,
again,
pretty vulgar
not
stuff
the smartest.
on there. And so I finally blocked that in September. And that's it. I remember the date, August 11th, 2020.
So it wasn't September then?
No, I blocked that account in September. I last spoke to her August 11th, 2020.
I will say he's been in a much better headspace.
Oh, man, I'm good.
Then.
I'm ready to roll. I'm ready, man.
Okay, so has anybody come in since the big girl?
It's just so ironic that you call her the big girl.
Because she's actually very, very little.
Yeah.
She's not a child. I feel like I need to preface that.
All we know, okay.
She's little. So
she's
anyway,
a small woman.
Yes.
Yeah. There is a girl I'm currently seeing.
And is she a woman or a girl?
She's a woman.
Oh, she's the most put together person he's ever dated.
She's
okay. So what's her nickname?
Her nickname. We'll call her Chicago. That's where she's from, Chicago.
Okay. And this is who you're currently seeing.
Yes. We've been seeing each other for a little over 2 months. It's going well.
Hannah's really good friends with her.
Yeah. Zach.
What is now or was before?
They didn't know each other until he started dating.
So this is Hannah's new friend.
Yes. I mean, I'm friends with her too, but like we don't hang out.
Yeah, and let this. I hope this speaks volumes to you. Zach has never liked any girl I've ever been with.
Okay, you just paused. He just doesn't like any girl.
No, any girl I've ever been with, right?
But for good reason. Like I think he would admit to that.
He's been right on all of them, but this one,
yeah, she's solid. Like she's definitely the most put together. Like she's
what things about her makes her put together?
Okay, so she for her profession, she's the youngest person to be hired in that profession at the place she works. She's getting her master's currently. She lives on her own, got her life together. She like does extracurricular stuff on her own, like she's got her own stuff going on. Like she's not dependent on a relationship to like be herself. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like definitely, especially compared to the train wreck that was like the last big one, the big girl. It's like it's night and day. Now again, with all relationships, there's always challenges. But just as far as like her, and even just like her like ability to just like hang out and not be weird, like she's good at that. The other one was not.
Yeah.
Your ex-wife was not.
No. She's like a witch now.
Yeah.
Many ex-wives have been referred to as that.
No,
yeah,
like
literal.
For real. Yeah, there's a lot of literals in this conversation. She's like a literal witch.
Like she
now.
casts spells.
She's probably dancing around naked in the woods with the moon out and stuff.
Yeah.
Dead serious.
Yeah.
Nice.
No joke. So anyway, I'm currently with her. It's going well. There's a very different pace to, so like, not even just with this last relationship, the big girl, I just had a lot of issues. I was very codependent on someone else being there, having a relationship. So for really all my life that I didn't know how to thrive on my own. And so like, I made sure like after the big girl to really get well, to heal, to get well, to become whole and be okay on my own. And I got there.
Yeah, he did.
I did. I really did. I got there. And, there's a very different pace to this relationship than any other one I've ever been in. It's very adult.
Yeah, I was about to say it's arguably your only adult relationship you've had,
including your wife.
Honestly, yes.
Yeah.
That was a tumultuous situation too.
Yeah, obviously.
Some would say, "Hey, Jake, aren't you the common denominator in all this? So maybe you're the problem." To which I would tell you, I'm just not. Like I pride myself on being a good self-evaluator.
I'd say your picking was the common denominator. The like ones you went after were not good news. By the way, his ex that he's not married to anymore, he was living with me when he proposed to her, and he did not tell me he went and proposed to her. That's how like he was like, oh, maybe it's not great.
Okay. Okay. Any other really pertinent information before we kind of dive?
Are you going to bring like an analysis to this and like?
Oh yeah.
I think that's pretty much it.
I think you're caught up. I mean, we've had a wild 2 years just with his love life.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's do this.
Wes, what'd you think of the fresh meat final? Like I get.
No. I'm really glad of where you're at right now.
Man,
like that's a lot of growth.
Yeah.
So I'm really
honestly,
happy for you.
I've known him since we were little kids. This is the most like I can say like the most complete he's felt on his own this entire time.
I'd call it a beta blocks kind of growth.
Ooh.
Hey,
zinger. So what I want until I heard these last very positive things, I had a lot of kind of bigger problems to unpack, and it sounds like you kind of unpacked them yourself, which is like the best way to get to them.
Like I said, I pride myself on being very self-aware. I recognize what the issues were, and I got to work.
We've had a lot of
you're a self-aware godsend.
Yeah.
It's the most like bragging name I've ever heard. But like, yeah, we've had a lot of talks with the three of us. Hannah's not here, obviously, but a lot of working some things out and trying to figure out, what's going on, what needs to happen. He's asked us to like hold him accountable to things. So like, again, he knows what's going on.
So do you want to let all the ladies know out there how much of a godsend I am?
Well, I mean, we're not ready yet.
Yeah.
Well, for one, you're
ladies,
dating somebody that you already like. And
no, but I think it's pertinent information regardless.
He just wants it to be out there.
Yeah. Tell the men out there. Tell all the men.
Okay.
Godsend.
We'll get to there. But I think that the new biggest problem that emerged, I don't know if this Zoom call is ready for it.
I'm ready for it.
It's going to be kind of shocking.
I'm ready for it.
I mean, it doesn't really involve.
I think your listeners are going to agree with me because I've been taking vigorous notes.
Yeah, if you're not watching the video version of this, like he's got a full page on a notebook.
It's a full sketch pad.
And this is college
it's well
rules.
bulleted. Like, I mean, I've got it down. Okay, you ready for this? And I also, in the name of constructive criticism and therapy and coaching, you guys aren't going to take offense to things, right? You're just we're gonna work with it for a little bit.
Yeah.
You both promise.
I mean, I'm the last guy you're gonna offend.
I feel like we have a good enough relationship that I know where you're coming from in this.
Where am I coming from?
You're not malicious.
Okay, yeah.
You're well intended.
I'm not malicious. I'm well intended. Okay, you ready? Yeah. The biggest problem in your dating life, Jake, is Zach and Hannah.
Oh no!
I'd say about a third of the notes that I have taken. Like, let me give you a couple of direct quotes. So Zach says, finally, first actually positive thing he said about a woman in this entire thing, including Hannah, has said that it's the first woman that is actually put together. And she is getting her master's. She's got extracurricular. She's got the ability to hang out and quote unquote not be weird. And it's like, why do any of these things matter to who you date?
I mean, I'll let him answer that.
No, I'm asking.
Oh, you want me to answer? That's fine. So the like masters and all that doesn't matter. Like it's just.
So I should take it off the list of things you said verbatim.
It's just okay. Let's calm down a little bit. It's just a.
You promised to not take offense.
I'm not offended by it.
You're offended, and that's okay. But you kind of promised. So
no, what I was saying is
we're loyal men here. You need to keep to your word.
What I was saying with those characteristics were, it's so outside of anyone he's ever dated in the past. And so honest, I think he would agree. Like, we're very upfront about this. The relationships he's been in, are they easy to talk to?
No, even like, let's talk about the two big ones, my ex-wife and the big girl. I mean, I literally had to be if I'm hanging out with my family, I've got to be the constant conversation starter and carrier. If anybody's speaking to them, I got to carry this thing. I got to speak for them and stuff. And
but do you have to?
If I want it to be weird and awkward,
but why does your family's opinion of the women that you're dating matter?
I don't.
That one's for Jake.
He went down a trail I wasn't expecting.
That's what I do.
I guess it's important to me that like who I'm going to be with, and I'll be honest with you, Wes, I date to marry. All right, because I don't care to like do the whole I'm with this person for 8 months, this person for a year and a half. Look, man, I hit 30 last year. I'm about ready to settle down for good. And
because you're about to die.
Yeah. So
life's almost over. You got to finish this off with a wife.
Yeah. So, no, it does matter to me that who I'm with gets along with my folks and people who are my friends that are essentially family to me. But that is among the many issues that were in play. That was very low down.
Yeah.
Very low down on the list of issues. It was an issue, but it was very, very low down on this list of issues.
It's been such an anomaly that it stuck out because it's like none of the other ones ever knew how to like have a normal interact. And like, by the way,
with you and
with anyone.
Yeah, but except with Jake privately where it matters.
Yeah, no, he's right about that.
Yeah, but I like it's if that's the case, then it's
so you're dating some women that happen to be socially awkward, and that is inconvenient to your best friend.
Okay,
it's not a deal breaker.
Good one,
but it's
it's not a good one. I mean,
yeah. So it's not. It's not a deal breaker. So it's not like I look at like, oh, you can't have a conversation with Zach. You suck.
No. And we would hang out like with like, especially when he was married, like we had no problem hanging out and like, doing whatever.
Well, you had a little problem.
No matter what I'm gonna say, you're gonna try to like retort it in some way. And here's what's happened. The last podcast, you came in hot going after Jake, and this one you're like, I'm gonna pick a new villain this time.
That's because I've been through hell, Zach.
Yes,
it's your turn. Okay.
Well, Jake, you're not perfect in this whole situation.
I'm not.
In all sincerity, though, it is fair and mature to date to marry. But to proactively say that to anyone, even yourself, is a bad way to start things off, because you're putting these relationships and these women up on a pedestal that they don't want to be on, nor should they be on yet.
Wes, we forgot one.
A whole nother one, because I'm running. This is a large.
The one that did that to a crazy extent.
Did what? Oh,
yeah. This one's the wildest one of them all.
That was such a small little window, though.
Okay.
Wow. Do you want to know about this one?
No, I don't. But like, let's talk about that. Like, you're putting. No woman wants to be put up on that pedestal too soon, and this is what happened with kind of this last girl in our last session. Was you ended up stalking her at her work.
Okay.
And then to the point where she had to try and ghost you and lied about what city she lived in. Yeah. And so we have to understand where their boundaries are. Yeah. And things like workplace and uninvited kind of showing ups anywhere, including a home, right? Like they need to be given as much, if not more, space than they actually need at the beginning. So that way we then know who we actually are going to spend the rest of my life with. So the ones that come to us despite the space that we give them.
If it's like if you have a bird, if you let it go and it comes back to you.
So
it's like I almost did that, except it is like that with the exception of you never had the bird in this analogy, not yet.
He's just
the bird is just free.
Yeah,
the bird is just free right now, and if the bird decides to come fly over to you, that's a good sign. But you can't catch a bird.
So, a couple of things here. One, you're not wrong. Mm-hmm. Two, I did not have the best decision-making process over the last couple of years because I just, in general, was not very healthy emotionally and mentally at all. Mm-hmm. I was very broken. I was very hurt, which led to just some overall bad decisions.
As anyone that's been through a divorce would be like.
Having said that, there's not a thing I would change about any of this, these last couple, the big girl and whatever other girls I've dated, because
it's just funny every time.
No, let me tell you what, right now, no man settles down with the right girl for the rest of his life and regrets dating crazy broads.
No, so what I'm saying is like the big girl, let's talk about her. That was not, now that I'm in my right mind,
we learned a lot from that, though. I think we should maybe unpack it at another point in time, maybe a little later. But yeah, let's
2 years from now.
Yeah. No, I just like, I feel like you're almost alluding to like maybe if I wouldn't have, like, as you say, put them on a pedestal so early or been as concerned about, well, do they get along with my friends? Do they get along with my family? It wouldn't. Nothing mattered with this girl. Like it just was never going to work.
I feel like it
Which one? The big girl.
The big girl, and my ex-wife. If we're being totally honest,
I feel like if we weren't recording, honestly, we could get into more details. But it's just like because like there's still people that like we know in real life. Mm-hmm. We got to be a little careful.
I'm okay with that, but I'm just curious though, like. The big girl sounds like a pretty bad girl.
Oh, she's bad.
So like what about her were you
she's a big bad girl.
Talk about this. She's a big bad girl. She's got a similar personality to your ex-wife. She's actually the least attractive of everyone on this list.
According to
that's a quote of me.
Yeah,
but you felt which is something that you should never say out loud to your friend or to even Hannah privately. You ended up skipping out on dinner and a little bit of the bar night with your patrons, which is a quasi contractual obligation that you kind of bailed on. Yeah. You were together for 7 months, despite her treating you horribly throughout that entire time.
Yeah.
And despite the fact that you're a godsend to women, she kept treating you this way.
Yeah.
You also lied about most of these bullet points to Zach and Hannah, which is a really weird sign. You gave her a television, and considering you have considering you have a podcast about television, we know how important TVs are to you. Yet you gave her one, and you almost bought her a car, and not just a car outright, a loan. You basically gave her a legal liability, almost at least.
Almost.
So, what about her were you drawn to? Was it the fact that you were hurting, so you wanted someone to hurt you back to validate those feelings?
I'll tell you what it was, Wes. I didn't want to be alone again. And so it's like Stockholm syndrome, right? Like you get so accustomed to a certain type of treatment, you think that's just what you're going to have and what you deserve. And so I had been alone long enough for my liking, and I didn't want to be alone again. And I was willing to make sacrifices for and exceptions for the kind of person I allowed into my life like that. And that's on me. Nobody made me do that.
And for the record, like on that relationship, we kind of knew like she was similar to his ex, but honestly, I stayed out, and I think you would say that too. Like I just told Hannah, I was like, I'm letting him make his own choice. I don't want to get involved. I know he's been in such a rough spot. Like maybe this person's great. We just don't see it yet.
Jake, did Zach and Hannah give you all the space that you needed to find out if the big girl was the right girl for you?
Yeah. They did not interfere whatsoever
until he came to that conclusion and brought it up to us.
Oh, okay.
And then at that point,
and then you told him that you basically been salivating to tell him how much you despised.
We weren't. Here's the thing, Wes. You're right. You're acting like I was like, yeah, get him, go get him. And no, but I mean, again, he was almost 30 at the time, and I was like, he's making his own choices. Like I can't, tell him one way or the other, even if I feel like she's whatever, because it's his life. And so I stayed out of it, and to like the detriment of Hannah, I think, because she was like, you've got to say something about it because it's just going to hurt him in the long run. And I was like, when he wants to open up about it, we'll talk about it. But until then, I'm just going to be neutral, like not say one way or the other. And I feel like that's like,
do you think though that not saying something,
it's like again, it's gonna. I'm the bad guy in this.
Do you think I'm not? Whoa, are you? Are you projecting? Like
I'm projecting what you're projecting.
Yeah, because no one has said that except for you. So
okay.
So I don't know. This is very interesting though.
I was a psych minor, Wes.
But do you understand though that when you say the word neutral, to you, neutral feels like a lack of data, but you know that a lack of data is data in itself, right?
I don't know what you were trying to say by that.
Because if you thought that she was great, you would have told him. So if you didn't tell him that she was great, then he now knows that you don't think she's great, even though you don't say anything. A lack of data is data.
I get what you're saying.
A zero might not look like a number, but it tells a big picture.
I think he knew that she wasn't what he needed, but like you said, he was just kind of in a low place. And so he didn't really ask about it, honestly.
No, I just did it.
Yeah.
Okay, never buy a woman a car.
Yeah.
I was like, man, that was a close one.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, even a TV.
But here's the thing, Wes.
What kind of TV was it?
Oh man, it was something I got from Rent-A-Center.
Okay, like a box.
Like it's like a 45-inch flat screen.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the hot chameleon. Where's she up to? What's she doing?
She yeah. She
She's
actually
still on social.
Yeah, and she we go to church. She started. Are we allowed to talk about this?
I mean, you talk about whatever you want.
She started showing back up right when I did. So
yeah.
I mean, literally.
Yeah, she just kind of like, it's like a.
Who's hotter, the hot chameleon or Chicago?
Chicago.
I'm not allowed to say apparently.
No, you're not.
He got mad when I said the other one.
He'd say Chicago.
Yeah, I would.
He'd say Chicago.
Yeah.
Okay. What about Chicago is so attractive?
So I'm a firm believer in So, at the risk of sounding cliche, looks aren't everything, right? Not to indicate that Chicago is not extremely gorgeous, because she is.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, I think that, what are we calling her?
Who?
With a next door girl?
Chameleon.
Chameleon. Hot chameleon. You know, at the time, I thought she was extremely pretty, but it was one of those cases where the more I got to know her, the more you saw how ugly she was on the inside, which kind of, you know, made me start to view her as I'm not as attracted to her once I figure out what she's all about. Whereas,
Wait 1 second.
oh, what happened?
I'm not sure.
He's whistling.
He's looking at something on his computer.
Can you guys hear me?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Sorry for the interruption.
Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Were you just trying to like not have headphones on?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're kind of getting annoying.
Yeah,
but
you
it does help. I mean, I can hear better, but I took it out of my little blue mic.
Oh, yeah. So it's probably. Are you on like a Mac?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So it's probably your sound on your settings is pulling from your mic instead of your computer itself. But it does help that you have headphones on, because it won't pick up our mic in your computer mic.
Okay, I'll keep it on and stop being worried about it. But yeah, I've just figured out how to do it now. But I'm not going to.
Well, we all learned something.
So continuing my thought, the thing about Chicago is that not only did I find her extremely attractive, she's only become more attractive as I've gotten to know her, because she's just an incredible human being.
How good of a friend do you think she is to you?
To me?
Mm-hmm.
So we went on our first date on a Sunday, and so I teach kickboxing classes, and we do these theme nights where, you know, we may do a rap night or 80s night or something. I did a metal night. I'm the metal head, so we're playing strictly metal jams.
Mm-hmm.
And she had known about it. She had never been to one of my classes. I taught this class at 6 and 7 p.m. She normally is in bed by 8:30 every night, because she's a teacher. So she gets up at like 5 a.m. But she made it a point, without saying anything, to come to metal night and work out, because she's a member at my gym. And rather than telling her
is that where you met her?
I met her. She became a member back in January, and that's where I met her. Yeah. Yeah.
January of 2020.
This year. Yeah. This year.
Oh, this year?
This year.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
2021.
Yeah. And so rather than telling her I was going to move away, I actually found that extremely, like, that really hit for me, because I've never had anyone, you know, I've told these guys, like, I've never had a relationship where it's a partnership, if you will. And we're each carrying 100%, right? And that showed me that she is going to support me in a way that I've always been desired to be supported. She's going to encourage me, empower me, and like, she'll be in the moments that I need it, on the days where I'm not feeling it, I don't have it together.
I'm going to ask you the same question again. How good of a friend is she to you?
Okay. That sort of thing right there indicates to me that she's a top-notch friend.
Yeah, you're using her. A lot of the things you're putting kind of credence on when you describe her like that is more of how you would describe a coach, a therapist, a teacher, someone like me, a paid consultant. And I'm asking
you.
Well, I mean, I'm a paid consultant and I'm giving you guys a free session, but yeah.
We appreciate it.
I think that's not how I would describe friendship. Friendship is just the laid back, hanging out, going on adventures together, and just living life in a laid back capacity. How is she with that?
Right.
Why? What about her makes it great?
You're really breaking this down, aren't you?
Yeah.
We got snowed in, right?
Real bad. Yeah,
we got
2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
real bad.
It was yeah. We're like 80% of the country was snowed in.
Yeah, we had like 10 inches here. We'd never get that.
Yeah, it was bad.
So we're off work that whole week, And we literally spent that entire week sitting in her apartment playing Mario Kart, Mario Party,
Which Mario Kart?
the 64 version.
Okay.
Yeah. We don't play around over here. We don't play that new.
And what's her character?
DS crap.
What did she?
She's a Luigi character.
Because she came over like a week later to our house, and we played Mario Party, but we also played like some board games and stuff too. I was Yoshi. I don't remember what was she.
She was Luigi.
Luigi, that's what it was. Yeah.
What are you, Jake?
So in Mario Kart, I roll with Toad. And,
what do you think that says about you?
I'm a big believer in the little guy.
Okay. Okay. Even if statistically it's known he's not as good, you still choose him anyway.
That's right. I still
sticks to his guns.
Sticks to your guns, makes a statement, but it puts those around you before you.
What?
Because statistically you're choosing the only player of the entire lineup that is known to be definitively slower, and you choose that person,
which is ironic because he's a mushroom and the mushrooms make you go fast.
Yeah, it is ironic. He turns well, but he's the worst guy out there, and you choose him. Do you think unconsciously to put those around you, such as Zach, Hannah, and Chicago Girl, kind of in the lead?
Let's just say I like to give everyone a fair shake.
Who do you pick?
more than I'm the princess.
Which one?
Peach
on 64. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's not Daisy's not until later. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now in Mario Party,
because I'm not a gender conformist in any capacity.
Right.
Hey, if we're ever playing a video game and you can make your own character, I'm always a woman. And like, I was like,
hold on, I gotta write this down.
Yeah, go for it. That's fine. Because I'm a guy all day long, and I was like, I'm in a fantasy world. Why would I not be something that I'm not used to?
Yeah, you are the reason why AOL got to be no fun to talk to women on.
Oh no, I'm not catfishing people or anything like that, but just like in like Destiny or like stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I wrote down I always.
Yeah, that's fine. You can call
I'm
me on
always
that.
a woman. Yeah. Okay. Got it. Okay. But yeah, so you say that you want to give everyone a fair shake, but really, do you think that means that you're giving everyone around you kind of a head start when maybe in life it's your turn to have the head start?
God, that's profound.
Who knew Mario Kart could bring such a deep level?
I did. That's pretty obvious.
Yeah. I don't know, Wes. Maybe I really need to stop, giving people a chance on this kind of stuff. I need to just start taking the bull by the horns.
Yeah, you need your happiness, your health and happiness and spirituality needs to take front and center, highest priority in life. And that doesn't mean the second priority is bad or you're not giving them the attention that they need, but the most important person to give that attention and that love to is yourself.
I agree with that.
And right now, I mean, as much as we obviously here on this channel love Zach and Hannah, you need to put yourself above them.
Wait. Okay.
I agree.
And Chicago.
Yeah.
And definitely Big Girl. And maybe we keep Next Door Girl around.
No, we can't. I promise we can't.
Does she not live next door?
She's going to be around regardless.
Because she lives next door?
Actually, she doesn't anymore.
She moved away.
But she'll find a way.
Yeah.
She's like
the city, or
she's like water. She always finds the weak point and she gets through.
She moved about 3 minutes down the road from me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, noted.
So, but she's not literally next door
She
anymore.
can't send her kid over anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But you're not going to show up to Chicago school.
No, that'd be
not
weird.
the school that she works at, nor the school where she's learning.
No, and even if I wanted to, people that COVID, so they're not allowing visitors.
Yeah. Okay. But if it was open, you wouldn't go there.
No.
Because it's off limits.
Right.
To grown men as well as boyfriends.
Yes.
Both
Yeah.
Both of them, yeah. And Zach, you and Hannah are going to do a better job basically making sure that your love for hanging out with her or whoever she is replaced by is not on the list of things that matter. because it was all about Jake's happiness.
I agree with that. I think maybe we got misconstrued on what I was saying.
I have a lot of bullet points. That
I trust me. I fully understand that. What I think he would say, we've told him the most important thing is that he's happy and he's in the right place and like his right headspace and all that, and that's all that really matters.
Mm-hmm. And
you're getting a very condensed version of 2 years.
Yeah.
Honestly,
you're fairly defensive.
This is on you for just not coming back around in so long. If we're gonna blame anybody for this is on you.
You guys are both very defensive.
You offered to be my wingman.
Listen,
if you are my wingman, the big girl may never happen.
That is true.
No, that wouldn't. Yeah, that would have happened. I would have fixed that.
You would have shut that down.
Yeah,
trust me.
Yeah, but where were you, Wes?
Probably in Tulsa.
Guys, I'm a busy man. I go in and out of periods. That's why we had to jump on today, because today is a good time.
Do you want to know what I live by? The statement I live by. You make time for the people that are important to you.
You got to say the stutter at the beginning.
There's a lot of people that are important to me, though.
Yeah, where do I rank on that list, Wes?
High on a very large list.
Yeah.
How many people are we talking?
Millions.
Good Lord.
What is the what percentile am I in?
I'd say you're top in my life. Out of all of those, I'd say you're top 1,000.
Oh, that's
pretty good.
Millions. That's pretty solid.
That's pretty good. That's like
really good.
Less than 1%.
Yeah.
That's pretty solid.
That's about as good as it gets, really.
I again, to your credit, I emailed you today, and within 10 minutes, you're like, "Let's do it tonight." And I was like, we'll have to figure that out." But
do I rank higher than Zach?
Oh,
okay.
On this podcast, I feel like you do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you need my help more.
All right. Well, you can't.
Zach and Hannah have each other.
Here's the thing you can't do, Wes, is you can't offer it and then just disappear.
I mean, I didn't disappear. I retweeted some things, and I've been a fan of your guys' show. I mean,
and it's much appreciated.
It is. Yeah. And we got to sit down with one of your best friends, Nehemiah, not long ago.
He's trying to get into the challenge talk now.
I actually wasn't. I was just saying, like,
it's not going to happen.
We have a lot of questions.
Not going to happen. But yeah, let's keep going.
No. I was saying, like, when Nehemiah, like, honestly, Nehemiah was one of our favorite interviews we've ever done. Just because, like, we didn't talk challenge much at all with him.
No, really. Yeah.
Just hanging out and just getting to know him. And I feel like that's an extension of you.
He is one of the most impressive men I've ever met in my entire life, as far as friends and just humans and grown-ups are concerned, like all of it. So I'm not surprised. I really will go back and listen to that one. But yeah, no, he's I mean, I'm a better person because of him. So,
I'm a better person from that interview. I'm not kidding. Like, we went deep on some things.
Yeah, super encouraging guy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he does a good, I mean, because he has very little time with you, he probably made some very impactful points, but he does a very good job of subtly putting in some of those life advices into places. Like, it's not like you would want to hang out with that all the time and talking about if it was constant, but he knows how to, like, leave a breadcrumb and then go back to just being a chameleon of the social space. He's impressive.
Is he your hot chameleon?
He's my hot chameleon. Yeah.
There we go.
Am I wrong, or is that guy aged like a fine wine?
Yeah, like,
looks good.
This is challenge talk, but who looked 45 when she was on the challenge and still looks the same now is
Beth?
Freaking Beth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I always thought she was so much older than what she was, and now she looks like she hasn't aged a day since the last time she was on.
So weird. So I'd finished the last time I'd seen her was
we talked with Nehemiah about her, by the way, because they allegedly hooked up, and he said that didn't happen.
No, yeah, it definitely didn't happen. Yeah. I was in the room. He kind of got the end of the stick, but here it is, but on that one. But so he has this random, like, fake hookup with her that she somewhat started. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then that was the last time I seen her, was in Brazil. I'm assuming she wasn't invited to the reunion. So that was probably the last time that I seen her, which was a very long time ago. And I'm out in Los Angeles doing something for MTV. I don't know what, but this was like 2 years ago. And Nehemiah and I are on a patio. eating some vegan food and hanging out. I don't know what we were doing. And she just walks by. Apparently, we were hanging out next to her house. And so it was like the weirdest interaction. So it was like the I don't know, like who ran. I don't even randomly see my own friends in my own city. And the fact that like Beth Stolarczyk, while I'm there, I was there for probably 6 hours. It was one of those like fly in the morning, do an hour-long job, say what's up to my friend, and then get on the red eye that night. And we ran into her. So it was just kind of funny. And she tried so hard to get out of that conversation super fast.
I had a weird run in high school where everywhere I went, I ran into someone that I knew. I was in New York City on Fifth Avenue in a Van store because I was like 17. There was a guy that went to our youth group that was just randomly in there. Didn't know he was there. Then I went to Costa Rica, and as I was leaving, a guy from my high school was in the airport there. And then I was in Disney World one time, and a girl that was in my senior class was just there. And it was all within a span of like 2 years, and it was super weird.
Yeah, that's a pretty good story.
Again, he's made me the villain on this one.
Oh man!
So I guess in 2 years, hand is up.
What?
That was
oh, that's the next villain. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So what else is how are you and Hannah?
Yeah, let's talk about you guys.
We're actually really good. We just celebrated 5 years marriage less than a month ago. And
congratulations.
Thank you. I don't feel like it's genuine, but I appreciate it.
It is.
And
but that's why do you feel that way?
Just your whole demeanor tonight.
You're projecting.
Yeah, great. Let's throw projecting out again.
Okay, tell me about your relationship. I'm curious.
No, we're doing really good. Like she's like really hitting her stride in her job and like.
And she's in real estate.
Yeah, she closed on another
like residential,
house today.
right? Yeah,
yeah. She closed on another house today.
I'm like I'm with it.
If you're my best friend, then I'm in a lot of trouble.
It's kind of mean.
Yeah, it is kind of mean. No, we're doing really good. Like we went out to Utah in August or whatever. We love it out there. Like I think eventually we'll try to move out west out there at some point.
With Jake.
We actually have talked about it.
They have explored that idea.
What do you think about that?
I'm very there has to be a reason for me to move. I'm not a fly by the seat of my pants kind of guy.
He also hasn't been out there, so obviously
I'd like to go out there.
It's a pretty special place.
Yeah. The problem is they never take me anywhere with them. So
yeah.
Usually we go on vacation with like family.
You're treating him like the dog.
It's exactly what I am.
Like you love him, but you don't really treat him like a human. Yeah. You leave him at home when you go on vacation.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, we used to go on vacation some together.
Yeah, me and you, but you got married and then you just kicked that whole idea to the curb.
Well, also that was when we were in like high school.
Yeah.
Well, but maybe we should all get back to that.
We have like legitimately talked about it, especially going out to Utah because he would love it out there. Just being able to go hiking and like, the outdoors and all that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, you've got outdoors tattooed on your arm. You'd love it there.
I do. What do you think, Wes?
I love it. Yeah. No, I mean, I'm Facebook friends with you. I see the tats.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You managed to drop in on one of my statuses the other day. I don't remember what the context was, but
I forget too. What did it say?
I don't remember, but he texted us like, Wes just commented on this.
I don't know.
What was it?
I don't remember.
Because I'll be able to find it in like the images we've sent to each other.
Anyway, going back to you asked about us. Yeah. No, like we're doing good. We're in a good place as far as just like finding our again, when you first get married, it's kind of a strange transition, especially, if you haven't lived with the person or whatever. And no, but like we moved into a new house last year. And we got plenty of room for everything we need. Obviously COVID kind of hindered some things as far as moving and stuff like that, but she's doing really well in her job. She actually got a rival agency called her and wanted to set up a meeting about moving her to their place which is always a good sign.
Mhm.
And she's like, I like where I'm at, And so
Good
like
for her.
again, she's doing really well, and like I'm super proud of her of that, because like her job now fits her personality to a T. Like it's perfect for what she needs to do.
Oh, it was the post about me throwing my back out.
Yeah.
And you commented, what
What a wonderful event.
you said, do you have a girlfriend, or do I need to step in and help out again? And I said, girlfriend or not, who am I to reject your offer to step in and lend a hand?
And when was that?
Like
March 13th.
A week ago, 2 weeks ago.
Okay, so here I am, pretty quick. Like when I see the bat signal, I'm there. Like you asked me this afternoon,
Mm-hmm.
Now, Zach
and
asked
I
you
saw
this
the distress.
afternoon.
I saw your distress signal a week ago. I get the invitation today.
Yeah.
I mean, shoot, guys.
We made it happen.
Yeah.
Well, here's a question I'll pose to you, Wes.
Okay.
You know Zach and I fairly well.
Oh yeah, like the
you're
back
friends
of my
with
hand.
us, huh?
Yeah, like the back of my hand.
Yeah. We're I think you guys are friends on Facebook too, right?
He's never commented on anything, so I don't know if it counts. I don't really post on Facebook, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, you're not giving me the option.
All right, well, you know what? I'm going to start. You better watch out.
Okay, I'll try.
How do you think we'd fare on the challenge?
I mean, okay. So the first things first. I don't really want to talk about the challenge.
Yeah, clearly we've got that.
But this is a different context of the challenge.
You're tricking me, and I'm gonna bite on this one. But now my guard is up.
Yeah.
So the challenge games, we have now proven time and time again with all the Champs vs. Pros, with Lolo Jones, with all these with the kind of influential fitness models and stuff, that being in shape doesn't necessarily correlate to the challenge. And it is an
100%.
advantage.
100%.
There's this weird, hard to put your finger on it type of athleticism that's really not normal in any other sport, because any other sport you do the same thing ad nauseum until you get good at it. And with this, you've never done it before. So it's like, who's good at, for the very first time of ever picking up whatever that is?
It's almost like improv. Like you just have to adapt to what's happening.
Some sort of athletic improv. Yeah, that might be a fair way of putting it. It's like you've got no muscle memory, you've got no experience, it's not like the refs go and demonstrate it for you or whatever. And so the types of people that end up being good on the challenge are, you can never really pick them out until they've kind of showed you. And you can put on paper all you want. We could go just get the top 10 CrossFit athletes, right? Which are the most fit, the closest thing to the most quantifiably fit people in the world, throw them on the challenge. And I'm sure that they would do well in a lot of different capacities, but it wouldn't necessarily change the fact that you're going to have to stare down a hall against CT.
Yeah.
It wouldn't necessarily change the fact that you're going to have to go rolling around in a hamster ball against Fessy. It's not going to change the fact that you're going to be partnered with some person that has never played a sport in their life, and you've got to navigate around it. And so whenever someone thinks that they're going to be good or thinks that they're going to be bad, it's one of those we don't really know.
It's like trial by fire. You don't know until you're there.
Yeah. That's where these phrases like popcorn muscles and show muscles versus go muscles, all that kind of stuff is kind of a little, that's where I first heard these phrases. I don't even know if they exist outside of the challenge.
I've only heard them in reference to challenge.
Yeah, me too. And so there's a chance that we made them up. I don't know. I've literally never heard them outside of the context, but it's like you see someone that looks the part and they're not necessarily, that doesn't necessarily translate.
I think that is especially again, you're not going to want to talk about it. This rookie class in particular, whew, it's been a
rough haul.
Mostly swing and a miss.
How's your two's friendship doing?
Us two?
Yeah.
I think we're, do you want to go? I think we're honestly on just a relational level, in probably some of the closest we've ever been, just because of how low things got for a minute. And
we had, just in both of your guys' lives.
To an extent. I mean,
okay, let me ask another question and then we'll come back to it because I kind of want the context of all of it.
Okay.
How did the lockdowns, how did you guys deal with them? How did you get through them? How did it hit you? Because if I'm correct, Jake, you work at a gym. Obviously that got shut down. You weren't kickboxing on Zoom. And Zach, you work at a, did I break my promise?
A couple times, but you're good.
A couple times. I think that was just the only one.
It's not, I promise you.
Yeah.
Shoot.
No, I don't care.
But then you were at work in like marketing and AV and such for a church, correct?
Yes.
Which probably had its fair share of struggling to the 2020s normal.
Yeah, so we already were streaming and stuff anyway, so we had all that kind of infrastructure in place. But yeah, I mean, this is only like honestly like the third time Jake's been to our house.
So are you guys, may I ask, like what
intimate?
What triggered you coming over? Like, or what made it safe? Are you guys vaccinated, or are you guys?
I have my first one. I get my second one on April the 8th.
I am not vaccinated. I have had COVID back in August.
Did you get it from the big girl?
Really don't know where I got it.
The chameleon?
Nobody knows.
It's probably from his gym, to be honest.
But we had been. No, we had my wheel had opened back up, but we were at limited capacity. Believe it or not, Wes, I think you would actually be impressed with this. So, the gym I took over and was asked to manage, and I have zero management experience prior to this. I took this gig in August of 2019, so not even 2 years yet, and it had not done so hot, really due to, I think, management issues. And so I said I wanted the gig because I hated my job at the time. I said I want to give this a go. And as of today, we have just about doubled our monthly revenue from when I started. And it is as profitable as it has ever been.
And that other guy didn't have to deal with a pandemic.
And yeah, did all this in the midst of a pandemic. So if you got any openings at Beta Blocks out there and you need a guy to just come through for you.
What do you think about what do you think what attributes that success? Like what did you do differently? Was it a ton of small things, or was it like one or two like kind of big things?
So there were two things I focused on, and that was the environment I created in the gym and social media content. That's what I focused on, because I did, like, when I got trained, I was encouraged to do like the door-to-door, like, hey, come check out our gym thing, and it just
very old school
didn't
marketing.
Work. And I wasn't seeing any real increase or production out of that. And so I decided, you know what, let me just focus on what I build in the doors. And so I actually, the team of instructors I had when I started is totally different now. So I totally had 100% turnover there. Got a team full of people in there who, because anybody can stand up there and say, hey, kick a bag 10 times or hold a plank for 60 seconds, right? But can you make your class, such as that people are having fun while they do it? And what it's turned into now is not only are people having a blast, and we actually completely changed up what we do in the gym. Like, we shut the lights off. We got all these lights going in there and everything. It almost looks like a club and feels like a club. But I think one of the coolest things I've seen is just friendships that are built in there. Like, people have built real lifelong friendships in there. So we got the environment right. We got the right instructors in there, and our social media content's on point.
I was going to say, from an outside perspective, you have a lot of people that post when they go. They're like, oh, check this out, I'm here at the gym. He's getting organic marketing through the people that are coming, which is everything you want.
Yeah, so you created a positive, great community, and then are using social to scale that message.
Yep.
Okay, so in the grand scheme of things, it sounds like as far as COVID goes, you guys both took it on the chin fairly well.
I think we both kind of thrive off of just being in a room by ourselves.
Yeah,
honestly.
so I used to work office hours, drive in. I have for the last 8 years plus. And when COVID started, I got to take all my stuff home. And my computer, all my hard drives, all the equipment that I needed, all that type of stuff. And I just started working my own hours, just making sure the work got done. But sometimes it'd be 2 a.m. because that's how I function. I'm a very night owl, hate mornings, all that stuff.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
A lot of times when I was in the office for 3 hours, I'm just not in a headspace to be creative, to work on stuff. So now I get to do it at my own pace. And because of that, my bosses and whatever were like, these 4 months or whatever early on in COVID, they're like, have been more productive than, the last 7-8 years. And they're like, do you want to just continue to work from home? And I was like, absolutely. And so I've been working from home. It is perfect for me because I have everything here that I need for the most part. Every once in a while I have to go into, do video shoots or things like that. But as far as just work, like this is the most functional and whatever, just because like if it's 1:30 in the morning and I can't sleep, it's like, oh, well, let's work on some graphics or like knock out a video edit that I need to do, that type of thing. And I just can do that. Hannah's asleep. And so
I think I've got a 90 IQ before 11.
Yeah, I do not function well before lunch. And I was forced for like office hours forever. Yeah. And I'm in like a fog.
I think that's one of the great things about the pandemic is it's accelerated everyone's look at how do we make everyone's work schedule and time and how they contribute it, making it a lot more customized. So we get the most value out of them and they get the most value out of the operation.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, that's fully like Hannah would hate because she's an extrovert. She has to feed off of other people's energy. If she's not around people, she kind of just starts to shut down. Yeah. Me, the longer I'm around a big group, the more it like drains me and I need like my like alone time to recharge. So this has been like, I know it's awful what we're going through, but like productivity wise, like, I've been in the dream.
I'm in the same exact boat as you. And my wife is like the Hannah of that story for sure. She's like the extrovert. She likes to go out and be around people. So that's been difficult in her own way. Okay. So to back up though, 4-ish minutes now, you guys both took quarantine and the lockdown on the chin very well. It sounds like incredibly productively, but then you almost sound like your friendship is rising from the ashes of sorts. Like it was at its worst. Like what happened? Because it feels like something has happened that I want to know about.
I don't think anything. I mean, I just think he was in a, like, again, with the big girl, like he was in a low place for a while. And like we had to have a lot of like heavy discussions about like what does he want out of life? What does the future hold? That type of thing. And I mean, I don't feel like we were like in ashes. But it's just like, it's different because we don't get to hang out like in person. Like, honestly, this is, I think, like the third time you've been here.
Yeah. No, I mean, I did. That's what I attributed it all to. If there was anything there, it's because I just was a mess. And if it were issues there with him, there were issues there with everybody. Not because it was anything personal, but because I was just a disaster. I just was.
What types of things have you done to self-heal? It sounds like a lot of this you've kind of attacked yourself.
One of the first things I said when I knew I needed to get better, because you guys had stopped by the gym this night. I was just like, I need to get around my friends again. I just need to be around. I specifically said my boys again, my guys. I just need that camaraderie.
That's what I said this afternoon.
Well, look where we are.
Yeah.
We are. Believe it or not, Wes, I don't know if you consider this a good thing. You're one of my guys.
and he's one of your top 1,000.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay. So are we not having a very mindful grown-up discussion?
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, we're an hour and a half into this thing, and people are going to be really upset because we've yet to talk about the challenge.
Well, you're going to probably have to warn your listeners.
They'll come along for a ride. It's better if they don't know.
Yeah.
A warning might help, but yeah, okay. But go on.
So I got around, because I think, we all need people along this journey we call life, and I needed my people back in my life again, just as a support. And so I did that, and I just started spending time like really reflecting on like decisions I had made and the consequences thereof. Like, I don't need anybody to tell me where I went wrong. I'm very good at doing that myself. And so I think, I just started to recognize the bad patterns and habits I had created, and I decided to make some new ones. And, a lot of that involved my faith. My faith is extremely important to me. And so I just spent a lot of time just being around the people I knew would encourage me and build me back up. Cause I tried to do it on my own for a long time, and which is what got me into the mess I was in.
I mean, because isn't that the best part about having a similar faith with those around you is the community that your church brings?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's got to be one of the most important facets of it is that you're around a bunch of like-minded people that are there to build you up and just be around you, even if it doesn't mean saying anything, just being around you. Community, I mean, is biologically incredibly healthy.
Yeah. Well,
here's a study, because we all have similar music tastes. So this is a music stat. I don't have the exact number, but I could find it very easily if I needed to, because I did all this research in the last year into biohacking. And there was a phenomenal study about how people who go to concerts with a similar group of people on the fairly regular, I don't remember what the regularity was, but it's like 2 to 4 times a year, were statistically more likely to live longer by a not normal amount, like a 5 to 7 year amount. And it had, even though I was doing the study from a music standpoint, because I launched like a music health app, but the scientific backing of all that, it had nothing to do with the music. It had to do with the community in which you were being around, and that was in itself healthy, which made you healthier in all the other areas that make you actually live longer.
Well, Jake hates concerts, so he's probably going to die next year.
But which is crazy because
you can supplant the concert community with a church community or a gym community or any type of community.
Well, even just like we play basketball with certain people. We've started playing tennis a lot more. That's warmed up now with a handful of people, and that's like I love that now.
And then like going beyond the church aspect, like I play in the band out there, and so like just having that camaraderie and that regularity of like being involved and engaged with people was something like I knew I needed again. And so I got myself back in a place where I knew I would get better as a result. And
how do we prevent you from going down those paths ever again?
I think I really think I'm past it. I really do.
I do too, honestly.
And he wouldn't say that if he didn't mean it. I know him. He would call me out if he thought I was just kind of, saying stuff, but I don't think. I think I've been through enough at this point that I'm able to recognize, red flags, and not just recognize them, but avoid them. So
it's sometimes hard though, because there's just something attractive about crazy women.
Well, I don't know what it is about me, Wes, but I've had like a radar up for them that it's like a beacon. Just they all are driven to me for whatever reason.
Or you're driven to them.
Maybe a little bit of both.
I mean, you're the one showing up to their work. You're picking them out of your customer base.
So that's a rule of mine. Okay, that's a rule. I do not ask members out. I don't.
You did though.
I did because I knew she was interested.
How?
I asked her. Is a mutual friend involved,
or is it okay?
The mutual friend is an instructor. At my gym. She knew
that a coworker.
I just asked her about her.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, man, like she's really pretty. To which she took it upon herself to go talk to her and be like, hey, what do you think about Jake? And she happened to feel the same about me. That was really pretty.
You're just trying to catch him on like an HR violation.
Yeah.
I'm just curious. It's better to catch it early.
Yeah. So no.
It's hard to have too many HR issues in a gym, but yeah.
Yeah. So that is yeah, I don't ask members out, but since I knew that she was interested,
you did.
I said, you know what?
He doesn't unless he does.
Do you think that it's a fantasy of hers to be dating a trainer at her gym?
I don't know her well enough. I don't know.
I think it's a fantasy of hers to be dating me.
Yeah, because you're a godsend to women.
I'm a godsend.
Yeah, good. You should ask her whether it's a fantasy.
Okay. Should I ask her if she fantasizes about me or if...
No, if she fantasized about the box that you're checking. Like, do you fantasize about dating trainers at gyms?
Okay.
There's something sexy about it.
Are you like, do you think there's something sexy about it?
Yeah.
You just said it.
I love job titles and uniforms and all that kind of stuff. Like all of that is great.
Yeah.
And when you're the trainer and you're in charge, like there's just something about that. I mean, it's the equivalent of you wearing a pilot's outfit.
There's something about a man in power, in a position of power.
Power dynamic.
Less about the power and more about a little bit, but yeah, and also your tattoos and your hair and your ability to move around the bag.
Yeah.
The bags, tons of them.
Hey, you should see me do some lunges.
Oh God, I can imagine you got some great hammies on you.
Boy, yeah, do I?
Yeah. Okay, good. So things seem to be going really well in your all's lives.
Yeah,
We're in a good place. Again, like we're hanging out more now because we're like going and playing tennis and stuff like that, and we're all kind of really getting into that when our backs are not messed up. He's had more issues with that than I have recently, but
yeah, just a product of getting old, I think.
Yeah, sometimes, and you're yeah, definitely. But we also have to be very careful not falling into the trap of blaming it on our backs. A lot of times, it has to do with knee, hamstring, quad, even shoulder, neck immobility that manifests in back pain. So that's why everyone's got back pain, is because the reality is all of us have all sorts of different problems, and it's just our back is the nucleus of our body.
Yeah.
And it makes it really hard to diagnose. And so in my most successful ways of alleviating my back pain have been when I experiment with things like, okay, I've got to get my quads more loose. I got to be more mobile with my shoulders. I've got to roll out the back of my knees and even into my calves. And all of a sudden, other things in my body miraculously like kind of heal. So it's really weird because I always grew up, okay, let's say your calf's injured, ice it. Let's say your back's injured, it's your back problem. And what I've learned in my later years is that what's hurting isn't necessarily what's wrong. So we all got to be very mindful of that.
Yeah. So because of my issues that I found out once I started going to the chiropractor that my hips were not squared. Yeah. And so like my right leg was like 1/8 of an inch, like misaligned. And so I have a shim in my shoe now, like on the heel that squares that up, and that has helped, and things like that. But Devin told me I needed to get one of those acupuncture mats and take some psychedelics because of course.
That sounds like a Devin thing to say. And he might be getting a commission on those mats.
Yeah, he might be.
Yeah, like Instagram is such a weird little marketplace these days, and it's only going to get worse.
Yeah,
let me tell you, because they're about to I don't know if it's how public it is, but they're about to start doing the in-video ads for the influencers, and the bar is low for influencer.
Oh, trust me. I've been approached and I've done them. Yeah. I made a review for Amazon that got 30,000 views.
Wow.
I had a podcast that did an episode about my review the other day.
Well, like I just mean that if you did like a 5-minute video talking about, on your feed about whatever, you'll start it'll break after 3 minutes and show an ad.
Oh, gotcha. I thought you meant like it was going to have ways you can like click into like the product or whatever inside the video.
No, you're going to start seeing, it'll be very YouTube-esque where people now they're trying to motivate people to put more and better content on Instagram TV, and this is how they're doing it. And they're paying basically an identical kind of template that YouTube does.
Well, this is very inside tech world, but like they're owned by Facebook, and Facebook completely lied about all their analytics with their video stuff and had companies shift their entire like online video strategy to Facebook and have tanked. Like College Humor is one of them. Like they went under basically because they moved away from YouTube and whatever and went to Facebook and their conflated numbers. And I don't know if I trust Facebook's analytics on that.
I don't know. I think at the very least, it's fair to say that it was misleading, but it wasn't crazily wrong. But I can see why people made really big bets there. And probably, but here's the argument is people probably should continue to make big bets there. It's probably the most boring platform to make big bets on that there could possibly be. But if you do it right, it's still, there's a reason why MTV tried to relaunch.
I was going to say, did you watch the Facebook Watch Real World season?
I did
you?
For maybe 3 episodes, out of the curiosity of the distribution strategy. And I thought it was brilliant and it worked and how they did it. It's just, I thought that the people that they picked were wrong.
One of those guys was at Challenge Mania in Nashville and he just showed up. Clint. Yeah. He was strange.
Clint Eastwood.
Is that his last name?
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's bizarre. How about that?
He has a way cooler name than what I remember of him being as a person.
Hold on. I got to go to the bathroom.
Okay, cool.
I'll be right back.
Yeah. She just got home.
I can see that.
Hey Wes, what's up?
Hi, Hannah. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm so sad I couldn't be here any sooner.
It's okay. We've been having a really good conversation.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
He chose me as the villain for this podcast.
Oh yeah.
You're the villain every day of my life.
No, he was the Jake was last time.
Hold on one second. I got yelled at by my wife. You want me to close the door? Is that what you're saying? Okay, sorry.
Obviously.
Obviously, close the door, you dummy.
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's fine. No, I was really looking forward to doing this, but
I'm
knew
sorry.
It's fine.
Well, now that you're here, let's go.
Okay, bye, Jake.
Well, hold on. Let me get. I can get another pair of headphones. Give me those right there. All right, we're back. If you're watching the video, it looks a little different. Also, it's going to sound a little different. Wes had to go to the bathroom, and
That's what sounds different.
yeah, it always sounds different once he goes to the bathroom.
He's lighter.
Yeah.
He sounds lighter.
Quite a bit.
And
Hey.
Hannah's here now. She wasn't sure if she was going to be here before we got done.
Hey, what's up?
That was
Just anybody.
It's not a boys' night anymore, but that's fine. We didn't want it to be. Wes forced it on us.
I think we scratched the itch of the boys' night.
I think we got into a. By the way, he does not want to talk about anything challenge related.
for it to have been
either.
for it to have been a boys' night. We've sure been talking a lot about girls tonight.
Well, that's what boys do.
Right.
It's true.
Hannah, I've actually-
Oh,
He
no.
took full
Oh.
pages of notes.
Oh my gosh. What is this?
He wanted
What
to
did
know.
you get into?
He wanted to know
Do
Jake's.
you want me to tell you a quick cliff notes of what all we
Yeah,
got?
please give me like a brief synopsis.
Well, we had to start where I left off, and I've been called out by both of the men in your life for not being around as much as I'm supposed to. So I apologize for that. So we had to pick all the way back up with our last podcast, the girl that Jake was dating at that time.
Oh, that's like so long ago.
No, and I just heard the name, so you might need
Oh,
to
did you?
bleep that out.
Good
Okay.
one, dummy.
I'll bleep that
Way
out.
to go.
We learned that probably the biggest problem that Jake had with her is he came on way too strong. And
Yes.
Wait,
started-
what? Hand?
Yes.
he started kind of, which has probably been a little bit of an issue with quite a few things in his life, and that he was maybe doing a little bit of, I'm overusing this word because I'm a reality television star, stalking her at work. But he crossed the boundaries where he shouldn't be going into her work, especially uninvited, because there's a sanctity of the workplace or any boundary, but especially at the workplace.
Also, we told him that she said she moved and then did not.
Yes.
She didn't.
And that happens to the best of us, Jake, so don't let it get you down.
Oh, listen, again, I'm not the least bit ashamed. It happened. It's fine. You live and you learn.
I don't know that you shouldn't be ashamed.
I did not stalk the girl. Okay? Let's just make that very clear. I did not stalk
Stalking
her.
is on a spectrum. You're on the spectrum.
Yeah, I didn't. There's no spectrum here. you can eat your spectrum, Wes.
But we're in a healthier, happier place now, so it's okay.
Yeah.
We then moved on to dating the girl next door, who is a little bit of a chameleon socially, depending upon the situation. She's hot.
I
so
didn't
she-
even know you would have gotten into
Yeah,
that.
so yeah, she's gonna have to kind of catch on to who's who in this because we
Oh
have nicknames.
no!
She
All
doesn't-
he had
we
to
don't
say
have
was next door and chameleon.
Yeah.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah.
She, albeit she is hot, she stalks him on social, which turns Jake on, but is definitely one of many red flags.
Yeah, it turns me off.
She was the literal girl next door, but not the figurative girl next door, which we think is probably one of the things that's missing in Jake's life. And Jake was in a place where he was kind of he felt like, I don't know how this happened to any of you guys, but he felt like all of you almost felt like there needed to be a kind of ultimatum-esque decision that needed to be made between
Where you cried at the restaurant.
her
I
versus
cried.
you.
I cried. It broke me.
So I think that there's probably a lot of misunderstanding in there. And I think that both parties need to meet halfway, as in Jake doesn't need to put his relationships on such a high pedestal. Meanwhile, you
Yes.
guys need to care far less about who he dates.
He said we're the problem in his relationship.
No way. No way are we the problem because you are.
That's
No.
That's-
Wes said that we're the problem.
He did say that.
We're not the problem because Jake
Oh,
is
my-
part of our family. And
Mhm.
so who he's with is going to
He
become
doesn't
part
care
of
about
our
that.
family.
He
He's not
doesn't-
gonna like that you said
Yeah.
that. He's not gonna like that.
That's not healthy. Hannah?
Our dynamic.
She doesn't like conflict.
No, that's not.
I don't like conflict. I want everyone to love each
This
other
podcast
and
has
get
been
along very well.
exclusively passive aggressive content. I mean, what am I
I had a passive aggressive confrontation come at me tonight, and so I'm all capped out for for like the year.
And we're only in March.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, that's a little early. But yeah, okay. Well,
Wes thrives on confrontation.
yeah.
Okay. Well, you'll get it from these two.
It's my job. I think I could get out of you if I needed to. Okay, but anyway, you guys could both have kind of helped each other, both sides of the table a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
You should care a little, like how fun she is socially or to hang around or whatever should matter not one bit as when you put, Jake's happiness into the picture. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but we also don't want him with someone that sucks. And
Yeah, but
she
like that.
did suck.
Sucking is such a subjective adjective.
I think he would say the big girl, which is the littlest one, but the big girl because it's the big relationship. That's what he's calling her.
That was the one that broke me.
Okay.
That I think he would say she sucks.
Remember,
Yeah.
Here's a pop quiz for you two boys.
Here we go.
Okay, here we go.
How you described, I believe it was Jake's brother, right?
Which one? The one that's missing?
Yeah.
One that's missing.
Okay.
One of the reasons that you guys have kind of attributed to the fact that he's missing, do you guys remember how you described that?
I believe Jake said his wife sucked the soul out of him.
I think you said that actually.
Did I say that?
You said suck the soul
Okay,
out of it.
Jake. I think Jake's.
I actually
said,
had that written down here.
he's got a lot of quotes from me. He's a good.
And so, do you think though that maybe your guys' judgment of how he interprets his relationship might be one of the walls that you guys built up, and really you guys are maybe a little bit at fault of this situation?
Wes is a therapist, in case you missed that part.
I would argue that just because he has never even met Hannah. That's how long he's been out of
yeah. We invited him to the wedding, and he just called Zach and was like, "Yeah, I'm not coming."
And by the way, Jake and I drove to Texas for his wedding, and so did a lot of our other friends. And then I invited him to ours, and he's like, "I can't make it." And I was like, "All right."
Okay.
And that's the last time I've talked to him.
That was like 6 years
so
ago.
Next up,
Oh, he put his glasses on. This
we've
is
got
serious.
we've got the big girl, who
Which is-
shall not be named, who is not actually big.
Yeah.
She's the
Actually-
opposite.
Very small.
Yeah.
What I've been told is she's got a very similar personality to Jake's ex-wife, which the way that they actually described her is how some people describe people that suffer from psychopathy.
Oh, they both could be clinically diagnosed.
Yeah.
The
for sure.
wife was.
Both have been clinically diagnosed to an extent. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, because that's how we describe like Laurel, right? Where she has been taught what human emotions are supposed to be. And how
They're not robots.
they act kind of robotically, like algorithmically. I'm supposed to say this.
No. It's not like Abed
That's a
from
really-
Community.
That's a really good analogy, though.
I'd say they were more just like manic bipolar.
That's a little different. Okay, so interestingly though, she was the least attractive of all the girls on my bullet points here. But
I said that
According to Zach.
because he
That's
asked.
according to
but
Zach.
yeah, it's important information. Data's data.
Jake
okay?
didn't agree with me, but I said that.
And despite the fact that she was the least attractive of all of them, Jake still fell in love anyway. And this love, this malintentioned love, if you will, made it to where Jake and her ended up skipping out on dinner with the patrons and left early of drinking with the patrons after Challenge Mania at the Nashville event.
Well, just hanging out at the after party, yeah.
Mhm.
He was there for just a second. And then
he didn't go to the after party at all.
Oh, not at all. So
No.
he didn't even give the respect of Houdini, but he didn't show up to the dinner. Dang.
Correct.
Okay.
Also, he did, to his credit, he did apologize on our next Patreon podcast because he kind of realized, I don't think in the moment it kind of like all clicked what happened. And then afterwards it was,
We
Yeah.
had some very upset patrons with Jake.
Yeah.
Rightfully so.
1/3 of the show.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
okay.
I'm the godsend of the show.
That's been an ongoing thing. Just
Yes.
roll with it.
Inside joke of this.
Yeah.
He's actually the godsend of women, and now he's transplanting women for kind of whatever sounds good.
Yeah, he's just rolling it into whatever he wants.
Okay, so but despite all these like really big telltale signs, they were together somewhat for 7 months. Then she treated him horribly, essentially throughout the entirety of the relationship. And even when he knew it was all going very badly, he started lying to both you two about what was happening, because even he knew that what he was doing was a mistake. But yet, so he had to lie to you guys so he could continue to go down this bad path. He gave her a television, which is like a really big issue, and he almost bought her a car on
Okay,
loan.
I was hoping you would tell him about
we
the
got into everything.
co-signing on
We
the
got
car.
into almost everything.
Yeah.
This is a podcast for literally no one but us three.
And some of our patrons that have been around long enough.
Yeah.
Okay, so after that, we've moved on to what sounds to be, Zach refers to her as the most put together woman in Jake's life ever.
Current.
And
the
they've
current
been
one.
kind of dating for
We call
about
her Chicago.
2 months. We're calling her Chicago.
I love Chicago.
And you two love Chicago because you two love hanging out with her, which means that you love her for him more, which is very unhealthy, but that's where we're at.
I think you misinterpreted that, but go on.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, because a lot of the words actually that Zach has said,
he's been quoting me a lot.
What Zach loves about Chicago is, and I quote, because she's not dependent on others for her relationships, she's getting her master's, she's into extracurriculars, and she has the ability to hang out and not be weird, which are all things that matter to him, but not necessarily to Jake.
Okay.
You know what? I'll defend that statement. First of all, screw you, Wes. Second of all, those were all
quoted.
Those no, I said I'm going to stand by it. I'm going to defend it because those are all qualities that were not in past relationships. The people that he was with were extremely codependent to the point where he had to be the one that was always like the strong point in the relationship.
And when he's having struggles, when he needs a support and a rock, they aren't that because they're so dependent.
Again, you're like, yes, that is a quote that I said. And you're basically, I know you were on Maury once, whatever. I feel like you're trying to pull that move with us.
Oh, you don't like it when your words are edited around.
Oh no, I just said I'm fine with what I said. Also, he's got another quote for me that's like, I always want to be a woman.
Yeah. No, I'm always a woman.
Yeah. We were talking about video games. And I was like, if I'm going to...
You kind of are always a woman.
Yeah.
I mean, a video game is wise, but that's fine. So am I. But okay. But basically, that's the rundown. That's the outline, if you will, that we've been discussing and going over. And I think that we've made a lot of progress here.
Okay. I'm glad to be caught up. I will say...
Wow.
It's just there's so many.
What do we say about data, boys?
Yeah.
Zero data is still data.
There's so many things that
right,
I want
Professor?
to say all at once. I'll start with
okay,
most recent.
You want to know where I learned that? You want to really nerd out. So one of these guys that I look up to, he's considered one of the best investors in the United States, probably has been for the past maybe 10 years. So one of his companies was on Shark Tank. I knew he was going to be on Shark Tank. I was looking forward to watching one of his companies on Shark Tank. And I tweeted at him. I look up to him after Shark Tank, and I'm like, they just did this thing. Why have you guys not been promoting it or talking about it or whatever? And his response was, a lack of data is data in and of itself. Eventually, I found out why. The deal broke up. It was all kind of a farce. There was too many like red tape associated with the deal that was in the negotiation period off camera. There was nothing to brag about. Yeah. And the Shark Tank valuations were way worse than what real investors were able to provide in the real world. And so it really was like, okay, interesting. Like literally not, doing anything at all was in and of itself. It was an action.
Yeah, that's I got you. What can you say? What product it was? Because I probably watched it.
I don't remember.
Okay,
I don't remember. But
he just doesn't want to tell you.
No, I really don't remember. This guy owns probably a small percentage of 1,400 companies. I'm in the same industry as him, where we invest at scale, small, tiny business. at scale into startups. He's just the Red Sox, and I'm like the
Mariners.
Yeah, I'm in the league.
Is that the team that Creed wrote a song
That's the
for?
Marlins.
Marlins.
It's the Marlins.
I would be the Marlins. I mean, I'm proud. I'm happy to be in the league, but I'm not winning any pennants.
Have you watched Silicon Valley?
Oh yeah, it's
so you're Ehrlich. You're Ehrlich, but not crazy.
Okay, so we have to discuss this for just a second.
Okay.
I just rewatched it recently.
It's a great show.
It is. It is incredibly racist, and it is so hard. That went right over my head.
Yeah, I haven't rewatched it since it aired.
It's bad.
So what in it? Like because again, I watched it when they came out.
A little bit to African Americans, but very much so to like Indians, as in because like they basically made fun of one of the main characters who's hilarious. I mean,
Dinesh.
Yeah,
which
Dinesh.
is Kamel Johnny.
Yeah, exactly. Who's awesome.
Yeah.
But how they did it, I mean, they just went too far. And then also how they treated women throughout it, they just went too far. And it just kind of shows how outdated it was. And,
I'll need to go back. Yeah.
But no, I mean, I am a redheaded incubator owner with a crazy personality. So that comparison has been made for 8 or 9 years.
Yeah.
But I mean, this guy made a bunch of mistakes in his life, so I don't want anyone to actually compare me to him.
Mm-hmm.
A bunch of mistakes.
Yeah, I think on the show he ended up disappearing in a mountain. Oh yeah, they wrote him off because he had some like personal issues going on. It's TJ Miller.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just made a bunch of big. So that comparison isn't as funny as it kind of used to be. But no, I mean, obviously, I watched the show about a redheaded incubator owner.
I mean, my brother-in-law works in Silicon Valley, and so like I always would like check in with him. I was like, "How close is this?" He's like, "It's pretty close."
Yeah. If you look, what's really kind of crazy about that is if you're watching the credits, which I hardly ever do, but those stuck out. The credits of the writers are all like kind of famous CEOs of startups.
Yeah.
So they literally just take like that happens in their stuff that happens in their professional lives, and then they write it into the show. So then it's like that kind of stuff that happens where you're like, this is so ridiculous, no one will ever believe it, but it's funny because it actually happened.
Yeah.
But if you wanted to know, that is a little bit of what's going on with the secret project. Is my incubator has never been residential. It's always just been a commercial operation. This summer, we've got about 60 startups from across the United States that over a period of time is moving into several mansions that I've purchased. And we're filming the whole thing. And
so that's why you're not on 37.
I would say that it's on the list. There's a handful of reasons.
Yeah. But you've got other things like production wise you're working on.
That's the production.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Do you need any help from us?
No.
You know, I saw you were needing a chef, and I thought about applying. Yeah.
I don't know that you can find many godsends out there.
Hey, listen. I mean, if there was ways that I don't want to take away from you guys' busy schedule, but like this is such an operation where it's like I need people that can come in and just work for 12, 14 hours a day for 3.5 straight weeks. So it's kind of gotten to a big kind of stage.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like you can part-time pop in,
Oh, we could.
Yeah.
And we would.
Yeah. We're only like 8 hours away. We can make it work.
I've also got some really strict kind of COVID protocols that we're kind of keeping.
I understand that.
Because we don't really know what the state of COVID will be. So we almost have to plan as if it's going to be bad.
Mm-hmm.
And so
that's a good idea.
Yeah, just it couldn't hurt. Like, what's the worst case that happens? Everything is great, and we can just everything's fine. So we're kind of treating. I learned a lot by going to 36 and what they did, and I basically picked and choose the things that I thought was the best bang for the buck and the best bang for the time, and I'm replicating some of those things in Kansas City.
Yeah. How'd you end up in Kansas City? We may have talked about that before. Are you from there originally? That's what I thought.
Mm-hmm.
We spent like 12 total hours in there.
If that.
Yeah. We were just like, because we basically drove like 8 hours a day.
We drove out just to hang out with you, and then you weren't there.
Yeah.
I responded to that email and said
He did respond. He did respond.
He told me about it on the way home.
Yeah.
What would you guys do?
Nothing in Kansas City.
Did you eat anywhere?
We got in at like 9:30 at night, and most stuff was closed, and then we had to be gone
No, it was later than that.
well, okay. Well, we had to be gone like early in the morning to make the next like 8 hours or whatever. So, we really didn't do anything in Kansas City. I think we ate at like Culver's. Do you have Culver's in Kansas
That is
City?
what we did.
We do, yeah.
Then
I
we
love
ate at Culver's.
Food burger shop, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's my
It was open, and it was late, and we had been on the road for so long that we were just like, we like this. It's fine. We don't have one here.
Butterburgers.
Yeah. So that we did literally nothing in Kansas City. We stayed at a hotel 2 different times.
I was a little disappointed because I really, living in Memphis for a long time, I have like a really big appreciation for barbecue. And I've heard a lot about Kansas City barbecue and I've never had it. And so on my bucket list is to go to some Kansas City barbecue hotspots and just taste, compare, see what I like, see if it's better than Memphis barbecue. If it's, because I know Kansas City is dry rub, is it not? Or is it wet?
It's wet, but you have to be very careful on how you describe wet. So we're very good with our wet. We put it on in a stage where it caramelizes. So it to the average looker, you wouldn't even say that it's wet because it's like got caramel on it.
It's got film on it.
Yeah, that's the film would almost be a good way of putting it. So you're not like at the end slathering out a bunch of like sauce onto it.
Mm-hmm.
You slather on in a very specific type of way with a very specific set of tools, and then put it back in the smoker to where it then kind of it turns into a film of sorts. So it almost looks like a dry rub and should come off as one.
That's what
we do dry. I mean, it's part of the process before you would ever even put it on the smoker.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now we have to go to Kansas City because I've got to try this.
We'll just need to talk to Wes, see when he can hang out with us for a couple weeks.
A couple weeks?
Because several hours when it, like at the drop of a hat isn't good enough for you.
I didn't say it wasn't good enough, but hey, if we're in your top 1,000, which honestly I don't know if we even said I was. We know Jake is.
I think we are.
That I think you could spare a couple weeks for us. We'll figure it out. You can go to Utah with us.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay.
I've got a good friend in Utah that I haven't seen in a while.
What part?
Salt Lake.
Yeah, we like Salt Lake.
That's where we like to go.
Park City.
Park City is where we like.
Actually, I think he might be Park City.
That's the like bougie area, like where Sundance is and like all the ski slopes.
Louis Vito.
Who?
Louis Vito, the Olympian.
Oh yeah, the Olympics 2002 Winter Olympics were in Park City, I think.
Yeah, mm-hmm. Snowboarder.
Yeah, she you can go there and do bobsled, and she would not do it. I kind of wanted to.
I don't do heights and
fast.
I can't tell if that would scare me or not. I can't tell if I would hate that or if it's not that bad.
It goes like 60 or 70 miles per hour.
I can't tell if that would bother me or not.
You should call Paulie and ask him.
I just spent a week with him, so I didn't want to bother him too much about it all. But I will be fanboy questioning what he has experienced recently.
Everything about it.
Mm-hmm.
I would too.
Yeah, he just spent a week with me in my home.
Oh, did he?
Mm-hmm.
But did he invite himself over, or did you allow this?
He just showed up.
It was a combination of both. But no, he came in for my stem cell guy.
Gotcha.
So he came in to get stem cells, and it's like a 4-day process, if not maybe even a little longer. And he came in the weekend before, so that's why he was in town.
That is very Silicon Valley-esque, where you have like your own blood boy.
Yeah, he's my blood.
Yeah.
That's a weird way to describe it.
Yeah. So, since you don't want to talk about the challenge, and we're caught up on Jake's love life, what do you want to talk about now? Because I have a lot of questions, but you won't let us ask them.
Oh, is that a thing?
He was like, "We're not talking about it."
That's funny. Okay, let's go.
See,
what are you gonna talk about?
Like
I think that's funny.
Yeah. Right.
No, and this is perfect. We'll talk about whatever, right? But we at least have to ask the questions, even if you're just going to give a hard.
Yeah, let me go through them, right? and you answer them however you see fit.
No.
All right, let's pull them up, because again, Wes, you know how Patreon works. This is one of our patron perks. And like, we're like, hey, you get to ask questions. And we got a lot of questions in the amount of time.
Because if we don't ask them, then we get the wrath. But if we ask them, even if you don't answer them, it's not on us anymore.
Yeah, that's true. That's on you. And
It's off our hands.
you have to live with that.
You've already got a bad rap about kind of brushing off your patrons. You remember Nashville?
Yeah,
Right.
Jake.
We've made up.
Oh,
Shout out to Keri specifically. We've made up.
Hannah and I hung out with them even at the after party for like 6 more
hours.
Yeah. Like we had a lot of fun there.
We had so much fun.
Patreon is like such one of those like random gifts that came out of nowhere, because in theory social media sounds so good, but to the cast members it's so not good.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
And so Patreon is like what social media is on paper. It actually is. It's just positivity. It's just good questions. And if I ever interpret a question as like, oh, that's kind of weird, it's from a good place. It's like it was misworded or whatever. Then the support and they pay more attention. So like when they say things, it's like right.
They're invested.
Yes, very much.
Because like with just social media, people can be like, you suck, I hate you. And it's like, well, they're not gonna like join a Patreon to say that.
Correct.
Because again, like these are the people that are bought in. Okay, so we're gonna go through these, and you answer however you see fit. Okay.
Sure.
I do want to say, and I think we all have. It's been echoed by a lot of our patrons. First of all, condolences about Bootstrap. Sorry. Again, we all, I think, followed the life of your dog, and we had people that said, I don't even have a question. We just wanted you to know that he was seeing him was a grace on our screens.
Yeah.
And so we had a lot of people reaching out about that.
It has been a tough month.
I can imagine. Yeah. So again, we have people sending you love right off the bat. So don't take it hostile. You may want to change your position on how you answer questions now. They're coming from a
He's
good
trying
place.
to guilt trip you.
I think that they've been trying to manipulate me for the last 2 hours. Okay, but
I would say the exact opposite.
I think Hannah got the joke immediately. I'm not sure if you boys did. The joke is not talking about the challenge is funny.
No, I get it.
I think it's hilarious.
But you also get
2 hours of hilarity.
This is what I want.
Because a lack of data
is still data. Yeah. All right.
Well, but don't people thrive for just personal, dirty, nasty information that like they wouldn't know about otherwise? This is
the words dirty and nasty.
Because I've been through some dirty and nasty stuff.
We've gone through all of this.
Yeah, I almost bought a car for a big girl
who's not big. So all right, here we go. Actual questions. Would you be interested in doing an all-star season, or would you stick with the main challenge? That's it. That's the question.
It's a really, really tough question. I mean, I'm getting FOMO from not being there. I am also very much looking forward to watching that. Just a fan. I think like the whole like thing is just smart.
The shooting schedule is a lot nicer.
Yeah. I mean, but that it doesn't even, that's not the thing. I don't mind the difficulty. I'm like a workaholic. So like, I mean, and when people are like, oh, like, I don't want to do the bunker, I'm like, literally make us more and more miserable. I don't care. The more miserable, the better, because I want all the people that are here for some sort of a vacation to hate themselves. Like I'm here to I want to be tried. If I wanted things to be fun and easy, I'd pay for it. I've worked my butt off to be able to have that type of freedom. I check into the challenge to go to prison. So like take away my freedoms, please.
The challenge is just a big escape room for you.
It's a gigantic puzzle. Yeah.
What a mindset.
So kind of a follow-up on that is just on the all-star season. You kind of gave your thoughts on it.
Well, okay. Here's
okay.
To be frank, strategically, I'm in this like really weird situation where I can't do the all-star season until I do at least one more challenge, because I need to do one more challenge minimum, but probably minimum and maximum one more. And I am not going to help MTV build up a new asset until I get one last shot.
So you feel like if you go on All Stars, you're not going back on the main show. Just is that in general or specific to you?
Yeah. Once I go on All Stars, that will be the only thing that I do. And
what about people like Darrell and Anissa? Do you think they'll bounce back and forth?
I don't know. That's everyone's got different life paths and what they want out of things. And like my direction is, I think I need to. And when I do this, I don't know. It's going to be up to MTV and such. But I just really want to do one more normal one the right way. And even though I needed to not do this one, I need to do one more big one. And whether it's the next one or whatever, I'm not sure. But I am not going to make it harder on MTV or me or my family to go on one more real one by going on the All Stars.
Gotcha. So do you?
That makes sense.
What if my wife is like, well, you just spent a month in, I think they were in Argentina. How can you leave and go do? And that might be a good argument. And it's like, well, now I'm just going to not invest anything in it until I get kind of like my last box checked off.
I get that. Do you have anyone you're excited to see on this All-Star cast?
Yeah, a lot of them. I mean, I think it's pretty cool. But I think, well, okay. So biasly, Nehemiah. So, but it's so biasly, it needs to get noted. Like, I'm so excited for it and everything. Like, he's just going to be very good at this. I just have this feeling, and I know that he was very well prepared in every area of life that matters to be prepared for. But if I'm not speaking about him, then I think, like, I don't know, like when I see the things, I'm looking at Ruthie.
Yeah.
And the new haircut, like all of it. I'm all about Ruthie. And I don't like Ruthie. So
really?
But she's sneaky.
Yeah,
she's sneaky good.
She might be. I don't know. I don't remember. I wasn't old enough to watch the challenge when she was on it. I just know that I didn't enjoy.
You're older than us. We watched Ruthie on it.
You wasn't on it anytime after I was.
I didn't.
Yes, she was. I think once.
What was it?
I don't remember, but she did. I don't have it in front here.
Ooh,
Hold this
up.
I'll pull it up. I got my other computer right here.
Yeah, there was a couple of seasons because I went back to college after the duel. So it might have been in there like a gauntlet.
Yeah, probably.
There was an Inferno.
Well, I, for one, did not know a lot of the people on this season, mostly because I just hadn't seen any seasons that far back.
She did the Gauntlet 2 and the Duel 2. Sorry, that was the last one. Was the Duel 2?
Oh, she did 2 post me. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I don't remember her.
you weren't on the Duel 2.
Yeah, but I partied with her one night in Los Angeles, and she was just a really bad drunk, to say the least. So I've got a very bad kind of taste in my mouth personally. But for whatever reason, when I saw, I think it's the haircut. Like,
she's ready to roll.
Yeah,
I'm just so here. I'm so here for the haircut that I'm gonna be in her corner, despite the fact that my only interaction with her thus far in life was not good.
Yeah, she's only won $1,000 on the challenge. It must have been like a team bank account thing or like a daily pool or something.
It's $1,000 more than a lot of people.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
That is.
Do you want to read that one?
Okay, this one's from our stat man, Paul. He said, "Why was Evan so mad at you on the duel? In my opinion, it seemed that you would call out Brad and he would call out CT. It seems pretty straightforward. What didn't we see?"
I don't remember the situation. If
I don't
I'm being
either.
Totally honest.
The deal was, so the problem was it just worked out. Everything about the plan worked out exactly the way that it should. And I think it was in his mind that he was going to screw me like later. And because he was put in a position where he had to do what he promised, he got butthurt, but he really had no leg to stand on. Because the deal was this: I didn't want to go against CT. He was scary even back then. And I know that he got even a scarier reputation later, but he was just, I didn't want to go against him in anything, for all the reasons why we would all assume. And I've never shied away from saying that. It's just he's a much bigger man than me. And a lot of these games are very much weight driven. So the deal that I made with Evan was I will volunteer to go against Derek and Brad in exchange for you go against CT. Because it's a call out game. So you have to call out. We have to get rid of a certain amount of people. And so I basically was like, I'll literally put myself in the elimination spot twice. You do it once. Because you've got like 30 pounds on me. So if it's a weight thing, then you have a better shot and you're smart and all this other stuff. So let me take out Derek and Brad, and you take out CT. And then he got put in a position where he didn't really get a choice based on how I won that day and who was, I don't remember how the math worked out, but like, I didn't even have to do anything. It just worked out to where he had to go against CT and he was just mad. I don't know. So
Just mad about it.
yeah, he's just butthurt. I mean, he saw the writing on the wall.
So Statman Paul actually has a lot of questions in a row.
You probably don't even have to say they're all from him. Just read the question.
Okay. How hard was the fresh meat final? I know it's older, but it seemed like you guys were doing it for forever.
It was on it. The name of the beach says it all. The name of the beach, this is like the literal name, and I will never forget it. It's called the 10 Mile Beach. And it gets that name because it's 10 miles long. We started at one end and we ended at the other, and we carried weight most of the time. And so, and running, even walking on sand is already hard enough. You then add in what was the various obvious weight that we had to carry. And yeah, there was a couple puzzles and all that stuff, but in general, like going 10 miles on the beach is hard. Then you add in the weight, and it's like all of a sudden that is an incredibly challenging day.
So we actually watched through Fresh Meat 1 leading up between Total Madness and Double Agents, and that's an interesting season for sure. I think the format, like, it doesn't hold up these days, especially like the half hour. So we just started doubling up episodes. So you get an elimination every other episode, things like that.
Yeah.
That was obviously where you first were kind of thrown into the fire with Casey.
Yeah, it was weird because it's like my first season I was the veteran.
Yeah.
So I got thrown to the wolves. It was being light.
Yeah.
And I not just, it was my rookie season and my partner was Casey.
Yeah, which you picked, by the way.
Yeah. Yes.
You saw she didn't even climb over the wall, and you still picked her.
Well, technically, I didn't know that. I think she said it or something, but I didn't see the footage. Like when you look
gotcha.
Yeah, so we weren't there for that.
I thought they showed you like a video of each person.
I don't. Somehow they just said it like on that little stage. They brought us in like a theater or something.
Yeah, it was weird.
Mm-hmm.
TJ was real stiff.
Yeah, it was weird, but so no, they didn't have video, and so I don't know. One of the other people was like, "Yeah, she couldn't even get over the wall." I'm like, "What? What do you mean she couldn't get?" I don't remember how it happened.
You're like, "Sounds great, let's go."
Yeah, I don't know. There wasn't much stat wise. They all looked bad. Is the kind of mean way of putting it. After the first couple of good ones had been taken, it was a very big quantifiable drop down.
Well, speaking of finals, which one was harder, Rivals 1 or World of Worlds?
Rivals was such like a stark, out of nowhere, like this whole like 2-day final thing had never been invented. And so, and that 10 Mile Beach thing was the hardest thing ever up to that point. So, maybe the dual one was comparable, but I at least was more mentally kind of prepared for something like that. So that's what made it not as stark. But then to switch, it's not like they tell you, it's not like TJ says at 6 a.m. on day one, this is day one, there's going to be a day two.
Yeah.
That mountain, you're going to start it at 7 p.m. tonight and you'll finish it at 7 a.m. the next day. And so from an athletic standpoint, you can't gauge anything. So how do you pace yourself? You have no idea. You're finding, and so they didn't just like incrementally up it, they more than doubled it. And that was the one where like Kitty carried me up the mountain. It's like, yeah, he put me on his shoulder because he wanted to make a good TV moment for about 4 seconds max. And we were tired because we were killing everyone, and it takes a lot out of you to be murdering everybody. So I was tired and I was cramping, and I had paced myself for a very, very difficult day, not 2 days.
Well, speaking of Kenny, Jake's got a next question.
Yeah, so if Kenny came to you with a company idea, would you sign him to beta blocks like when Jay-Z signed Nas to tell him to or tell him to F the F off?
I'd tell him to F the F off.
Is that what I said? F the F off?
You did.
That's not what
You
you
did.
I would provide him some free advice to see if I could help him prevent a financial disaster. But no, in no way do I need or want to work with him.
He's kind of like my my white whale as far as he actively avoids everything that I've ever sent him. And I know there are reasons, but
what are the reasons?
you know, there are reasons. There's reasons why they're not on the show anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've reached out. We've had a lot of our patrons like jump on Instagram lives he's done and be like, hey, you should do this, and he just ignores every bit of it. I even tried to send his dog something, and he's just gone. Now it's just more of a game at this point. It's if I can ever get him. Our friend Logan accidentally got him on his podcast because he thought it was something CrossFit related and agreed to do it, and then realized immediately it was the challenge.
That's funny. And I'm going to take a quick bathroom break, but I'll be right back.
So picking back up with Beta Blocks again, what is your role with Beta Blocks now? It seems you're more free to come on challenges. Also, how do they not put you on the website?
Okay. So there's been a lot of advantages of being on MTV when it comes to starting your own business. But there's way more disadvantages.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to find ways to take the advantages and leverage them, and you have to find ways to kind of assuage the disadvantages. There are 3 classes of stock in Beta Blocks. There is the Class A, which owns Beta Blocks and the right to it and the brand and everything that it can do, all of its intellectual property, all of its real estate. Class B is all of its investors, and Class C is all of its consultants, which consult in exchange for equity. So they are also investors, but through sweat equity. Mm-hmm. I own 100% of Class A equity. And then my pro rata share, which is somewhere in the neighborhood of 60 to 70% of Class B. And then Class C is all of basically Beta Blocks' staff and employees. When I'm not on the website, it's because I don't put myself on the website. I want the entrepreneurs that are coming through for their first impression of us to be about what we're about and our portfolio and our success thus far. And once they see that, if I am the guy on TV, they don't give a crap. But I want the first impression. I want it to be judged for what we've done business wise, and then I want to talk about the TV stuff afterwards if they want. But I don't want it to be the guy from the MTV's incubator, even though it is. But you know, I mean, it's a solo venture with a team that I found out ways to kind of spread the wealth out to them.
Yeah, it's again, like as much as we love the show, I don't think you would put a lot of these people in charge of your financial future. Mm-hmm. And so I get that.
Yeah. I've stood up for the other cast members so much over the years, and I'm just so jaded about it. I'm kind of over it. Like, there's a lot of them that are exactly what the world thinks of them. And so the world isn't really necessarily wrong. It's just, I'm not them. And so I get kind of lumped into them. And so, but then there's just as dumb of fans that say things like, why isn't he on his website? Does that mean that they're like, he doesn't even work there? It's like, no, literally, I am the boss. There is no one even close to me. It is what it is. And I'm not on the website to literally manipulate people like you until our clients have realized they want our services for the right reasons. And they're not going to balk for the wrong ones.
Yeah, I get it. Kind of is it more from like an SEO standpoint? Like you don't.
Yes, SEO did matter a lot. I kept the world so separate for so long because all it took was one article, and a couple of them totally were definitely big issues where if they talk about both things, and so I've kept the world so separate, which is one of the reasons why I'm so excited about this summer's project, is because it got to a point where I'm literally one of the best angel investors in the world. And I'm also one of the most iconic reality television stars of all time. Why is it? I'm a godsend as far as both of those two worlds, as Jake would say. why is it that I have gotten so good at these two different worlds, and why not combine them and just own the reality television entrepreneurship world? And that's kind of what I'm gonna do.
This isn't a question for Patreon, but are you self distributing? Or are you looking for like a distribution partner as far as whatever you're working on?
I am very excited about that question, and I'm not going to tell you.
That's fine. That's fine. So
there's some kind of TV answers in there, but there's also some really nerdy entrepreneurship answers that, as far as I'm concerned, are incredibly innovative distribution techniques. But what I can't say is this: my vision for what we're doing this summer is very kind of CrossFit Games-esque.
okay.
Where what I'm doing this summer will act as like the regionals or the semifinals. And each of these different weeks that we're bringing in different types of entrepreneurs, there's going to be, it's all one big competition. And, you know, with jerseys for who's in the lead and who won that day and all that kind of stuff. So we're turning, it's like the Olympics of startups. My vision is that I get to distribute it as innovatively and privately as I want, but that the finals are televised, where the people that perform the best at the things that we're doing this summer, that turns into a bigger production that is then put on a more traditional television distribution.
Gotcha. Yeah, I didn't want you to like spill your secrets or anything. I was just curious, just from a back end perspective.
Well, what's innovative about what we're doing is I'm going to, everyone will know everything in late summer, as in everything, because it is going to be for sale. So that's the long and the short of it.
Okay.
We are going to make it possible for everyone that follows the challenge or anyone that's interested in reality television to buy part of it. So for the first time ever, people can own part of the show that they're about to become a fan of.
So almost like stock.
Exactly like stock.
Not like NFTs.
The question at this point is, do we go with stock? Because there's about a 5-year-old law that ever since 1933, what I'm about to say was illegal. And for about the last 5 years, it's been legal, where I could sell. Normally, you wouldn't legally be able to sell to more than 35 investors, which is why you've got to take big chunks of change from them, or else like it doesn't matter. But now, as long as you go through certain regulatory bodies, and I found those regulatory bodies, there's like 6 or 7 of them across the United States. I'm on a first name basis with 2 of them. I'm allowed to sell $500 shares if I want. So we're leaning towards that, but an NFT is also very much so an option. I'm just very much so worried that people don't understand what it is.
It's a very convoluted thing right now.
They're almost identical. Like it's just and as far as why we're using it and why it's like 50-50 about what I do, it's really interesting how they're very different, but yet they kind of accomplish the same things. I'm going to end up saying a bunch of really manipulative words to help people kind of understand. Like I'll be like, it's the Bitcoin of this show. You can get in early and you can own part of it, and you can also sell your shares and it might be worth a lot. But those are all very manipulative words because I don't know what's going to happen to it.
So question on that. If you are an investor and it gets sold, or let's just say, like hypothetically, Hulu picks it up or Paramount Plus, and it gets an evaluation, does that scale with whatever you invested in?
Yeah, it depends on which of those 2 things we do.
Yeah. I'm just curious at this point.
That is literally what the main topic of conversation for my 4 p.m. was today. So what does that look like? So there's going to be some, let's call them liquidation triggers, where we're kind of pre-valuing the business or the show based on certain milestones that it gets to. So it's like if it goes on a traditional channel, we owe all the investors a certain amount of money.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And if it makes a certain amount on ads, we owe this percentage or whatever. There's going to be some very, very clear cut milestones where the people that own part of it are going to get paid. But I don't know, like I always hear these things like, oh, let the voters choose who goes into elimination and all this kind of stuff. Well, I'm going to take it to another level. Like if the show succeeds, people are going to get paid. If it doesn't succeed, you spend a very small amount of money being a part of something you believe in.
It's very interesting. Like I'm just more curious about like the back end of it from your side. But we can talk about all that down the road whenever you formally announce it and all that. Completely pivoting away from that. If Danny, who is 0-6 in eliminations, and Josh competed in 10 eliminations, varying in speed, strength, agility, puzzles, etc., who would win more?
Danny.
Okay.
I believe him.
I do believe you, even if the stats don't back it up, because of
We've
how,
seen Josh.
how pitiful the Josh versus Michi elimination was.
Wes, did you watch that?
Uh-huh.
Did you laugh?
Did you cry a little bit?
Okay, so you want a hot take?
Yes.
Give it to us.
I do, but yeah, let's go.
It's not what people want to hear.
Okay.
Josh is gonna be better than people think.
Stop, Wes.
There's two things that need to be noted
Hold on,
about
wait. You said he's gonna be better than who?
Then what
people
you
think.
People think.
Oh,
Well, okay. Well, right now they think of him as like a potato.
That's
So,
what I'm saying, which isn't all that hot of a take from me, because if I'm even sort of right,
the
so
sky's the limit
bar
on
is
that.
so low,
Yeah.
right? But I think that he's actually, okay. So the challenge has made a really erred in the wrong direction of gaming the eliminations to be weight and size based, which means the finalists are going to be big dudes. Statistics are going to say that. We just had tonight our third.
We haven't seen it.
Okay,
We're
well,
recording with you.
Can I tell you what the elimination was without saying who won or who went into
Sure.
it?
Okay.
Sure.
It was the third hall brawl of the season.
Gotcha.
So if there's 3 hall brawls of every season, you might as well just say, okay, there's a 10% chance that someone on the guy's side that's under 200 pounds is even going to make it into a final, because it's just a weight-based thing. There's never been an upset in that, because it's just a silly who's bigger than the other guy thing. And I get that there's like some wiggle room in what I just said, but oversimplification is it's a weight-based game.
The only twist I would say was when they did the 2 versus 2 in Rivals 2, I believe.
Yeah,
Because you had more manipulation room.
Yeah, we've never seen that again. But that was a good one. That was like Marlon and Jordyn,
yeah,
somebody else.
It
and
was,
it was a fun one to watch.
I don't know.
Ty and wasn't it?
Oh yeah,
You
maybe
were-
I think it was Ty and whoever he was partying with.
Okay, and so what's gonna happen is Josh is gonna get put accidentally in an elimination or two, just like everyone is. He's politically strong enough to not be sent in first in every time. And he's gonna accidentally get into 1 or 2, which almost everyone does. And he's gonna win that because he's got 50 pounds on the average competitor that's there. And then he's going to go to a final, and he is over preparing for it as we speak, and has been for a long time, and his cardio is on point, and he loves to run. And the reason why he's bad at puzzles is not because he's done, but because he freaks out. But when you're in this 36-hour-long competition, your anxiety is not going to get the best of you. When you're in a 36-second game, he's going to freak out and lose. But when you've been running for 36 hours, there's no anxiety. You just solve the puzzle, or eat the food or whatever. So Josh is going to be a really good finalist, and he's going to sneak through some eliminations, and he's going to surprise some people. And as soon as people agree with everything I'm saying, I'm going to turn around and I'm going to talk a bunch of crap on him.
Well, here's the thing.
I like to row in a different direction.
I agree. One, that he's good TV, because he gives you, like, again, him and Devin going at it was some of the most fun stuff of the season.
His
His political prowess is underrated, and they're not showing any of it, and he's good at it. So I really hope that we get to see that side of it. What do you think, Jake?
I do think his watchability is through the roof, but I think it's through the roof because he's so goofy and seems to exist on a different planet than what the rest of the house exists on.
And viewers exist on.
I mean, we're talking about, he starts 1 minute he's paranoid about going into elimination, but then when he doesn't get voted in, he's offended by it.
Which is good TV, ostensibly.
And then, there was a little situation with Jeyyy earlier in the season where he's just right there in front of his face talking to Casey, like, I don't trust this guy. Like, let's kick him out, whatever. It's just like nothing had happened. Not right. I mean, remember this, right? Like, and it's just like, So many times in the 3 seasons he's been on, it's been like, what planet is this guy on?
I do agree that just based on weight and whatever, he should win some if that's the continuing progress. However, he's also shown us when in a situation like that, like against Jordyn in a tug of war where Jordyn has one hand and probably weighs 75 pounds less than him.
Which by your logic, that should have been a challenge that he should have won.
He got outsmarted.
Yeah. I agree with what you guys are saying. But he did go into that one with a massive advantage, and he still lost it, which is what makes that such a classic, an instant classic, if you will.
I agree. I think that's one of the better wins in a long time because Jordyn had everything stacked against him.
Yeah. And only Jordyn has that type of patience to do it. I mean, it was impressive and it was entertaining because of it, but Josh went in several steps, figurative steps ahead with this big advantage. And it's not always going to come out in favor of the guy who outsmarts him.
Here's the thing. So I forgot because we haven't talked to you since all this happened. From what we saw in War of the Worlds 2, Laurel was the brains behind getting you out. But she let Josh think that he was. And that was the thing, was that he was like, oh, my plan's working. It's like, no, Laurel like planted the seed in your head. And he just let you, she let you run with it. So that way, if it backfires, you take the heat on it. And like, again, that's the thing is like, it's you, again, you're saying he's good politically. I agree. He's good in friendships and like building alliances, that type of thing. I don't think he's good politically as far as like, let's plan out these next moves from what we've seen.
Yeah, no, everything you just said is very correct. Those are just two different departments of politics.
Yeah. Okay.
I do want to ask, I don't think it's a question, but another thing that is in Josh's head that doesn't seem to be in anyone else's is this rivalry that you and him have.
Yeah.
Where he is, I think he would say that he has matched you or
he's bested you.
And that's what's so great about it. Why he's never going to really ever be on my level is because he's out there trying to build a rivalry. And I'm here on my 3rd hour of the podcast, giving him nothing but compliments.
Yeah. Like again.
And as soon as he drops the rivalry stuff is when I'm going to give him nothing but negative comments. Like no one's ever going to know which way I'm going. Like, I'm just going whatever way y'all don't think I'm going. And there doesn't need to be any rhyme or reason behind it after that.
I love it so much.
So
I get so much enjoyment out of complimenting him. You know how many cameos I've sold by people that just want me to talk on him? Probably $10,000 to $12,000 of cameos.
Oh my God.
That just want me to say mean things to Josh. And you want to know what I do? And they're the boss. They're the boss. They're literally paying me. You want to know what I do? I compliment him. Josh.
Yeah. Kill him with kindness.
Because that in and of itself is an insult.
Worst insult that there is.
Yeah.
Because you're not thinking of it as like a competitive level.
It's like, oh, Josh.
Yeah. So Austin just said, this isn't a question. He just wants you to for sure keep doing the weekly challenge news recaps. Because people like those.
Those are harder than they look. I have a notes section on my phone and I have rough drafts and but yeah, no, I'm gonna try, but they're harder than they look.
Robin wants to know, how do you feel about the gold skull requirement? Because we've talked about this a lot this season. We kind of liked it initially. I feel like it's really ran its course in the like current 3-4 seasons. Mm-hmm. And I think us in particular, and then a lot of our patrons, we know that because we talk with them a lot, kind of want to get back to the worst performance in the daily goes in, and then you vote for the second team.
I hope they don't do that on this next season, only because I'm not there and I want to be there when they do that. Because it's such a good rule. I want to be around for the good stuff. And so I'm afraid that they use the good stuff when I'm not around. So I hope that they use the gold skull stuff. The gold skull stuff was because they do good business advice is to do what your customers say, right?
Yeah.
And so they heard harshly during World of Worlds 2, people hide behind alliances and they do all this. Basically, they're saying in a weird tone, that the Karas and the Paulies and the Cams were too good at the game that was given to them, which I find to be annoying. And so MTV is sometimes they take those things too seriously. So they built a whole rule around making it impossible for those people to do that again. And then they didn't cast any of those people for the next show. Yeah. So then all the people that got victimized by Kara's cult had to go lose in all of the skull stuff the next season. And they didn't time it well enough to where everyone by 3/4 of the way had a gold skull. So there was no incentive to play the game really any differently, because the math works out to where someone's going to go in every time. It's like, and it always has been for all the partnership games and all the solo games. The only time that people really are able to hide like that is in the one team versus two teams, big kind of team formats. And so that's the nature of the team formats. And so they got the result that happens from the team formats. And so they built this whole like gold skull thing, which was a good idea. And I'm glad that they did it. I'm really kind of, I don't think that it was the right move to do it again.
I agree.
But and so here they've done it twice, and we'll see if they do it again. Who knows?
It feels more than 2 times, if I'm being honest, because
it's 2 times.
It's just been like that's at the forefront, and I get why you did it. Like not you specifically, but like the broad you. But it is. I do kind of want to get back to that. We did have someone specifically join our Patreon today, and all they commented on was Gabriel, and he said, "Wes, give me a shout out, bro."
Gabriel, what's up, my man?
Hey, real quick though, I was doing this number for like 30 seconds over here because I wanted to interject on the last question.
Okay, go for it.
So the other thing I wanted to make a point on about the gold skulls is,
why don't you raise your hand?
I don't know, man. I guess I'll do this next time. How about that? Is
that what you were doing when you showed up to that girl's work?
That's what I did.
Yeah, he's like, "Hey guys."
That's why she wanted to move away.
Or a fake move away.
Yeah. So, but it removes any consequences of losing, like in a daily too, right? Mm-hmm. And so
exactly. So the dailies have never been better. So they're on this other planet of production-wise, sound-wise, look-wise, game-wise, helicopters, mountains, everything, and they don't matter.
Yeah, and you've also had like hugely like, oh, these are very choreographed and whatever that have just completely flopped because no one does anything.
The one this season when they were all hanging on this contraption from a helicopter and they had it's like a battle royale, man.
Nobody moved.
Nobody did anything.
And I don't know what that cost, but that day was probably a $500,000 or $700,000 day of watching these entitled little brats hang on a net. Sorry, hang on a net and not do anything. Now, granted, they were probably not told that there was a time limit, which means it probably is the best strategy to wait, play defense, right? And so, and then the other thing that was kind of not shown that I heard afterwards was the weather was so literally dangerously bad, and everyone was freezing, and they weren't doing anything to protect or keep the cast members safe. There was whatever, and so it was one of those like, hey, if you want us to risk our lives, help us while we're not filming. Give us a tent. Can we get something to get waterproofed a little bit? Are you sure we should be fighting for our lives on top of this helicopter in between the thunderstorms? That kind of stuff.
Well, and Michi almost. You had to send the crew after him.
Yeah, I saved his life.
Yeah, you did.
And he voted me.
Does he call you and thank you for that?
He thanked me in person.
That's good.
Yeah, he was very good about that. But then he voted me in.
He's a rookie. What are you gonna do? Well, and then he lost to Josh. Even worse.
Yeah, which is not a good sign for his challenge future.
If Beta Blocks built a time machine and you could go back and do one challenge over again, which one would it be?
I don't know if what I'm about to say I'm super confident in, but I should have just done them all. I don't know. I cared. I don't know. I put too much stock into my stress and over worrying about my business that I should have just had a healthy relationship with it and then used the challenge as my hobby, the way that it is now. And it took a long time and a lot of maturity to be able to make those balances happen. But if I knew how to do that back in the day, I could have just done them all. I would have won like 9 of them. And then I also had a really unhealthy view of what an entrepreneur's work-life balance was supposed to be. I thought it was like all or nothing, and that's just not the case, which is why I got so skinny. So I mean, I really enjoyed lifting weights and being strong and being athletic. And then I took 5 years where I was like, okay, the only thing that an entrepreneur is supposed to be doing is selling and making. So I did that for 5 straight years, and I barely ate because I was so stressed and I wasn't sleeping. And that, obviously on paper sounds stupid, but when you're there, you kind of talk yourself up into, oh, this is what a CEO does. And it's like, not a good one.
Yeah, no, I know all about that. If they ever did a couples challenge, would your wife do it with you?
I wouldn't let her, but no, we wouldn't. I think she's at the same point where she wouldn't. There's just too much to risk. She's our family's safety net. I can go out and do all this ridiculous shit, and if something ever really bad happens, she's got her master's degree in a corporate job, and she's really good at it, and she's highly hireable in lots of different positions. And so it's nice to know that what's the worst case that happens? Like I make some massive mistake on international television and I just become a really good stay-at-home husband for a couple of years while everyone just, calms down. Like and to put her into that world would subject her to that type of subjectivity. And I don't want, I wouldn't want that for her.
I honestly, I brought that up with these guys when we recorded our all-star cast breakdown. I was like, some of these people don't realize what current day social media with reality shows brings. And I was like Latarian, he has like 1,000 followers on Instagram and hasn't been active in like 20 years. I was like, I hope for his sake that it doesn't like bring this like toxic mindset and like, hey, I hate you so much, I can't believe you did this. Cause like it's just different and you have to like almost separate the two things.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet, and I'm going to, but the Real World Homecoming on Paramount Plus.
Yeah, we haven't watched.
And so I got the impression from the trailers that it's like these people that have known each other for 25 years. They're having some really frank discussions about some really important topics, but they don't care that the cameras are there. They're talking to essentially family members about these important topics, and they have the freedom to do so, which is why I'm going to tune in. I want to know what they said. But they did so without any social media followings for any of them. Mm-hmm. And so I have this bad feeling, and because now I've kind of seen it, 1 or 2 of them have been canceled, and there was no such thing. And why is it that it's happening now? It's because the scrutiny of every last word, it's just not even worth talking about. There's no incentive to have that talk. Mm-hmm. And so they were trying to be productive, and I'm sure mistakes were made, but it is very scary. And All Stars is going to be no different. There is and
it's uncensored.
I guess I had never thought about that.
Yeah,
they're going to touch on those topics. Like, and they're going to touch on them from they're going to touch on those topics. That's all I know.
Keep moving the mic. Was that first elimination this season really going to be you versus CT? Did production switch it up at the last minute, or was that just a rumor?
Yeah, that was a rumor. Did they really want, think about the amount of money they spend on a season, like the total bet. Yes, they make profit, both MTV and Buena Murray, they both make profit. Otherwise, neither one of them would do it. But still the sunk cost of the total bet to do this entire season. Are they really going to start it off with 2 guys hung upside down going 10 feet down a pole? Mm-hmm. No, they're not going to. No, they're not. And then they kind of proved it by when they had the males do that elimination, it was 30 feet longer. So it was set up before it got down there. No one knew that those idiots were going to throw me down. That's just the long and the short of it. And because the only way to keep it quiet for me is to keep it quiet from everyone, including production. And so, they don't have it's just impossible to do that.
What's your ideal challenge format? Like partners, teams, individual, and do you like the skull twist?
I don't like the skull twist. I like partner challenges. That's probably the quick answer of it. I mean, I've thrived in the individual ones as well. I did very well on Total Madness. I won the duel. So I guess I'm on paper really good at the individuals, but I really like the team ones. There's just something fun about having, someone else that you're working with, because I've grown as an adult into being a really good team member in those situations.
Rivals 2 is one of my favorite seasons because of just like the dynamic of that type of thing.
You want to know why I thrived in that? Is because I became the Indian and let CT be the chief. It's kind of like when I watch Cam and CT work together this season, and neither one of them wants to give up the chief role. It's like, that's on both of you, but really all one of you needs to do is know when to back off and just let the other one person take the leadership role. But CT can't physically do that. And Cam cares way too much about that role. And that's what made me successful with him and her not, is I don't care to take the back seat when necessary.
So a couple more questions here. It seems like you and Paulie are good friends now. Would you support him and go to the Olympics to watch if given the chance?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even want to get my hopes up, but to go. First off, I am such like an Olympics nerd. I love the Olympics, probably more summer than anything. But because as a swimmer and as a track runner, those are the only times that I really get where the stuff that I trained at forever is on TV. For the most part, it's not. So I love the Olympics, and I've never been. And so if there was someone I knew, especially someone that was close to me that was in them, I would go. That said, Lolo and I are not on very good terms. So, I've gotten like we're not good.
One of the most disappointing, like it's what we talked about earlier. Just because you're an athlete doesn't mean you're going to be good at the challenge. I will say from the rookie class, you had the best partner, I think. It's obviously, she had to go home for an emergency reason. But like I thought Natalie was going to be like really good, and from what we saw, she was really good.
Yeah, it was both the best and the worst thing that I could have done to myself was partner with her. It's like I kind of overestimated what my, I don't know, prowess was going to be on that one, and then by getting partnered with the girl that made everyone so insecure, just added to it. It's like, oh great, like what? And so in hindsight, I should have pulled a CT and tried to pick one of the girls that no one was fearful of. So, but how am I supposed to? I mean, that would have been a very courageous thing to do that I don't take back to this day. But like on paper, I probably should have partnered with somebody else, but only because she's that good. Yeah, she's.
Yeah.
I mean, I now follow her on Instagram. It's like she is.
Oh, well, that's a big deal.
She'd beat all of us up.
She's very fit and very strong. She's snatching more than I snatch, and by a lot. It's like kind of ridiculous in a good way, in a complimentary way.
Yeah.
Last question. Who would you like as your partner if you had another rival season? And what about an ally season? And then she added, I secretly just want him to say my name, LOL, which I don't get that reference, if I'm being honest.
I do. What's her name?
Michelle.
Well, Michelle, here I am saying your name.
There it is.
Yeah. She's in the tech industry. You guys could be an ally season.
Michelle?
Yeah.
Well, Michelle, there we go. We're together.
What is the reference? What am I missing?
She just wanted me to say her name.
Oh,
I think you're overthinking it.
Oh, okay. I thought there was a Michelle you were a rival with at one point.
No. I mean, I think formally getting partnered with Bananas would be funny. I think we get targeted super bad because everyone is so jealous of us, but it'd be funny.
I loved it on Total Madness, like when you guys just fully embrace it. Because here's the thing,
fully embraced it behind the curtain, though.
Yeah.
That's what made it functional. Now everyone is like, now it's worse, and that's one of the reasons I got picked off. Do you know how many people said these like under their breath, I'm jealous of the dual confessionals that we had? Because it basically meant that they made us the backbone of the show, and it got them so mad. And then Bananas wins and he takes one off, and I just come in and bear the brunt of basically him and I stealing that show from them.
Yeah. I just again, if there's anything that you and him are more aware of than a lot of people, it's the fact that it's a show, and what makes a good show is for the people that have hated each other for the last whatever to behind the scenes team up and jump on that. Who would you want to be an ally season with?
That's a tough one, because like on one end, I immediately would like point to my really good friends. So like Devin is an incredibly important man in my life. And Nehemiah is probably is my best friend. There's some other really important men in my life, but like he probably gets that title. He was the officiator at my wedding. I mean, so like on paper, this is the man. And Devin was also at that wedding. It was a very small wedding. But
invited to it. That's right.
It was a top 15 thing, not a top 1,000 thing.
Gotcha.
So I apologize for that. Next time I get married, I'll send you guys an invite.
Okay.
It worries me though that with a rival season, you have nothing to lose with that relationship. What's the worst that happens? You leave as enemies? Ooh, how scary. But you go into something that matters so much to both of you, right? Like let's say that Nehemiah went back to the normal full season, and we were allied. And I mean, I actually thought about this today. It's like that would be incredibly risky because we've got such a great, healthy relationship. What could we possibly get out of it? And the answer is something could go wrong in the game that somehow bleeds into the friendship and then hurts something that means way more to me than the prize money ever could make up for.
That's why, since we started this podcast, I've been wanting a best friend season, because those fights are so much more real and have little like
they
subtleties.
Pull out personal stuff
where it's like, yeah, well, it's like what you did last March, and we may not know what that means, but like it's but it is
like when Jenna got in a fight with her cousin over the
yes, I reference that all the time.
Yeah. Like
we get one of those in All Stars.
Oh, so have you seen All Stars yet?
No, but
okay, you just know some things.
Yeah, and honestly, it's not from Nehemiah. Nehemiah will not talk to me about it.
Yeah.
So, and he's right. He shouldn't. And also, I haven't. There's been so much personal stuff, some good, some bad, in both of our lives. And the reason he's in Kansas City is because we work together. So there's like 14,000 other things to talk about. But also like he's made it clear he wants there to be. I'm not in that part of his life, and I respect that, and I understand why. So where I've gotten my data, and it's a lot of it, is not from him.
I do have.
It is from two of the other cast members.
I do have a question regarding All Stars. Canonically, in the challenge, this is not season 37, and so does a win on this? So say Darrell wins, just hypothetically. Does that count as this fifth win, or is this like an auxiliary thing where you're like, oh, well, they won 2 champs versus, they won 1 All-Stars, and then they won 4 main ones?
Yeah, they're going to talk about it like that.
Yeah.
Well, and because all the haters aren't going to want to give it credit. And then the challenge isn't going to want to give it credit because how they've painted themselves into the corner is, we're going to pay you based on how many seasons you've been there.
Yeah.
And so therefore, how we're going to manipulate this situation is we're not going to count these spinoffs.
Yeah.
And so because of that, how we've got to leave a paper trail now is we're going to pretend that champs didn't happen, or we're going to pretend All-Stars didn't happen so we can pay everyone less.
I think from our perspective, what we'd have to say is they're a 4-time regular champ, they're a 1-time All-Stars champ, they're whatever champs versus.
But why it's going to be borderline unnecessary to do that, especially with this cast, is, I mean, what of the total wins that have happened over the years, whatever happens in this All-Star season is probably going to be harder to win than half of them that people have won back in the day. I mean, I think we can tell from the trailers that this is going to be closer to a modern normal challenge as far as difficulty and everything.
Yeah.
Than a Champs or Star spinoff or whatever. And so, I think it's not going to give the props that it deserves right up at front, but it's hard to tell. Like, I haven't seen it. The only thing I saw was the 5 minutes today.
I didn't even watch that. I'm just going to wait. Yeah.
I enjoyed my 5 minutes, and my wife and I are going to be doing a recap. So it comes out tomorrow.
Yeah. At some point. I don't know if it's at midnight or what, like midnight Pacific time, I'm assuming.
So it might come out in 28 minutes.
Well, we're Central Time though, so like it may be Pacific. So like it's like California.
Yeah.
Is that 2 a.m. then?
Yeah, it'd be like 2 a.m. our time.
Yeah, I don't know. But I'm gonna be watching, and it's it's the first time in a long time that I'm just gonna watch it as just a fan and not being there, and it's just kind of refreshing and kind of nice. And
I do think that it's definitely production wise, it seems like, oh, this is like a modern day challenge. And a lot of these people that are on this have not seen that. And, there's a couple of people like Anissa or Derek or some of those have done more recent seasons, but like some of these people, it was basically like carnival games when they were on there. And it is not the same level of physicality or exhaustion and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they take it. But yeah, the trailer makes it look like it's just same old, which is
that's what I thought.
I like. And again, I want to eventually go on it, but that is going to be it, when I go on it, I'm done with the other one.
Yeah, I think it's done. Mark Long's done a very good job promotionally. He's kind of a grassroots, thing behind him. And like those trailers, I went back and looked at the trailer numbers for Double Agent stuff currently. Like it is killing them, like just like virality wise, just on all their stuff. And I think that speaks well for sequels in the future.
Oh yeah, probably. Yeah, we're like the last people that know those things, but so I know as much as you guys, but probably, yeah. And MTV and Viacom, as far as like what I see, and there's anomalies to this, but they work in 3 seasons at a time. They buy 3 seasons at a time. They do some of the legwork for 3 seasons at a time. They make some hires for 3 seasons at a time because there are economies of scale and investing in multiple seasons at once, even if they're separated by 6 months or whatever. And that's why you get a little bit of these War of the Worlds themes and the rivalry themes of the Dirty 30, Final Reckoning, whatever. That's why like some of the themes match in these threesomes. And so I wouldn't be surprised. And I'm like literally just reading the tea leaves here. I have no idea if there's any truth to this. I would be shocked if no matter how it kind of goes, there's going to be 3 of them.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, you can kind of see like Dirty 30 to Final Reckoning was like production was very set in a certain way. Then Justin Booth came back for War of the Worlds to Total Madness, and you can see that. And then I didn't realize Justin Booth wasn't on this season until Devin told us.
Yeah.
And
first off, his protege is, and she's a walking, talking, spitting image of him as far as strategy goes.
Is that who was in charge of this one?
Yeah, she's just an Irish woman, so like on paper she's very different, but they're the same. And he's this Alabama dude, so on paper they look very different, but they're freaking identical as far as everything that matters decision making wise.
Yeah, I thought this season was another one because it felt tonally very similar.
Yeah, no, I mean they're both militaristic, if that's a word, and run the show as such and expect that from the cast and crew. And if you follow those rules, you'll get respect, and if you don't, you'll be fired. Cool. Like,
I do have one question. I know we were here for a long time. If you had to put money on someone quitting All Stars, Who do you think it would be? Because I have my choices.
The
of
three of us have already made bets.
male and female. I've got one of each of who I think would quit.
Well, it's weird because I watched that first 5 minutes today,
Oh, okay.
and there's a girl that I maybe had heard of, but definitely have never met or seen, and she slipped off the bus. Like
I did see that clip.
and
Yeah.
it does kind of like, and it does kind of show maybe what they're going to do for the whole season, because they had this like fun juxtaposition where the first, let's call it 4 minutes of these 5 minutes is kind of these badasses. Am I allowed to say that?
Sure. You've already said a lot of other things.
These really hard athletes, right?
Yeah.
And then they show some like montages, and they're getting off the bus like one at a time, getting ready to learn the rules from TJ, and it's all good, and we feel like it's basically 37 is here early, and then they introduce Gisela, I think is her name, and they show her getting off the bus, and you're ready for her montage, and she falls off the bus.
It's like it was like on the show Next. A couple people did that.
She did that, and then her montage is just getting her butt kicked in like this one elimination, and so I think that there's going to be a little bit of this tongue-in-cheek humor where they're going to put them through like very modern difficult challenges, but they're also going to not take themselves seriously, and so there's going to be, I think there's this a humor element to it.
I like that.
That'll be really refreshing.
Yeah.
Just for a reference, my picks were Big Easy and Trishelle to quit.
But then in Trishelle's little thing, she says, like, I'm 50% a very well-known challenger and 50% a very well-known quitter. And I agree with that. Or she said something like that.
See, there you go.
So she might be foreshadowing quitting already. Like, so that wouldn't be a bad guess. And Easy's not a quitter. He's just,
he made an impression on a lot of people in Nashville. That's why in the thing with Kendall, she's like, who are you least excited to see? She was there with him.
What did he do?
It was interesting because we met him early, like before the show started, because we were there for the dress rehearsal, because we were playing. Jake and I were playing during that, and we went up to him and we were like, "Hey man, we're from Tennessee. You're like right up the road in Kentucky. We watch all these past seasons, and we've watched every season you've ever been on. Would you want to come on there?" And he was just like, "I'm really wanting to put all the challenge stuff behind me. I just don't want to talk about that stuff anymore." And we're like, "Okay, that's your call, but it's kind of weird that you're at a challenge event and like doing a meet and greet right now." And then as the night went on, that answer got progressively more
aggressive,
blunt. Because we had like our friends from Rotten Bananas were there and things like that, and they talked to him. And by the time they talked to him, he was like, "Wow, I did not expect that answer." And it was again, Kendall and her thing said it the best. They didn't just quite mesh.
Yeah,
and I think Kendall gets along with everybody.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never met her.
She's really nice.
She is super nice.
She was like you. We talked to her one time, and then we met her in person, and she
remembered all these like very intimate details of like our relationship. And
I mean, I don't want to be a one-upper.
We do have that.
Are you gonna save these notes?
Frame it.
Yeah, can you frame it? Put it
my
on
work sketchbook. So like,
laminate it.
I mean, it's like there's, like.
Can you sign?
This designer.
Can you sign that, and then we'll give it away on Patreon?
Wireframes.
Yeah, that's actually a great idea,
Wes. I'll pay you.
Questions for one of the
He
most
can make a
important fucking platform owners in the world.
Wes, listen to me. I will pay you to mail us that.
To put in
He's still talking. He's not even listening anymore.
Yeah, go ahead. You'll pay me.
I will pay you to sign that and send it to us, and we'll give it away to one of our patrons. Your notes about Jake's relationships and my weird quotes that you took.
Maybe, but
Okay.
like you've noted, it's a valuable asset. Why would I give such a thing away?
You can make a copy of it and then sign that.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's even more valuable without a copy.
Okay, that is true. It's a one of one.
This is the Mona Lisa of your guys' thoughts.
Don't be a stiff about this, Wes. Just sign the thing and send it to us.
I do have to send you a shirt.
I think it would be funnier if he keeps it.
I think
just like forever.
Thanks for looking out for our patrons,
Hannah gets my sense of humor better than both of my boys here.
I should have been here all night.
Well, and you're the one who didn't even want her on the show.
I didn't say that.
Oh, Wes, now I've got some emails.
I said, listen, I got a really good window today, and like I think we can go big. I've got an idea for my long joke here, and I need to do it today because stuff's about to get worse for me at work here in the next couple of days, and then who knows what type of black hole I'm going to get into.
Listen, let me. You know what? I'm going to pull it up right now.
Sure.
And I would.
You're like kind of tired. I don't know. Should we go to bed?
Yeah, you don't want me to read this because I was like, can we do it? You said, can we do it tonight? And I was like, honestly, no. We have to record Double Agents recap, which we haven't watched yet. And then we were going to, and I said, also, we have to wait until Hannah is back from an event and have no idea when that will be. I was like, what about Monday the 4th? And you said, kind of sounds like you have a pocket of time in which you do have availability. And I was like, I just don't know when Hannah's going to be back. That's the big kicker. We could push the Double Agents one for sure.
Good husband right there. Let's throw that out there. Good
I was like, we could push the Double Agents once for sure, but she had to miss our interview with Devin a few weeks ago.
I did, and I was so upset
because she was sick.
I really like Devin,
and she definitely wants to be a part of talking with you again. And I was like, also our patrons would have a bunch of questions. And I was like, what about Friday night or Sunday night if Monday won't work? And you said, I'm thinking a guy's night and with more metal interludes. And I was like, I'll give you all the metal interludes you want. It's like, but you're killing on me on this. I said, what would your wife think? And
we're a very good husband today.
I was like, Hannah has been wanting to talk to you too.
Listen, can we all agree that it ended up working out? We checked off all of our boxes. As you can tell, I didn't have anything to do tonight.
This is.
Yeah. So I got to drink with you guys. I got to have a little fun. We got to talk about the two subjects that both of us want to do. I got to learn more about you all, and you got to talk the challenge.
I feel like I'm going to have to make this a two-parter again, where we did the first part that's no challenge talk, and then the second part is when Hannah joins and you had to go to the bathroom, and we just pick up from there.
Yeah, that's you're the boss.
Not only did you get lighter, the conversation got lighter. It was very.
That's because I'm the light of everybody's world.
Okay. Both of you guys keep trying.
Oh,
I didn't say anything.
Yeah, no, you too.
Zach's too busy being a woman.
I can tell Jake's a morning person. He's just zoning out.
I'm actually so.
Oh, I'm good. I'm good right now.
I know you and I are night people. This is when.
So
I was up till 3 last night, and I had to get up at 8. I'm good though.
Yeah.
No, I'm good, Wes. I'm good.
Did you not teach?
He's rubbing his chest. I'm
Did
good.
you not teach the 5:30 class this morning?
Oh,
you normally do on Wednesdays.
do I look tired?
It was Thursday. Wait, what?
Do I look tired?
Yeah, you're kind of young. You don't think I'm entertaining. That's cool.
No. I have been yawning, but I yawn as much around you as I do Zach and Hannah. So everybody gets equal amounts of yawning.
Yeah.
I
don't know what that means in the grand scheme of things.
This is not attributed to Wes. This is attributed to a job that I very much enjoy, but that it is also draining.
I mean, Wes, do you have any other questions for us? I feel like you came in wanting to know some things. I feel like when we talk with you, it's more of an interview with us than anything.
That is kind of what it's felt like.
Yeah. So do you have anything you want us to talk about before? I mean, we'll hang here. I'm good. But
as a 3-person podcast here, how's the dynamic going? Do you guys have any qualms with each other that we can work with?
I actually do with Han. That's been well documented to this point.
I'll hand the mic off.
Okay, this actually happened. What, last night? No, not before last.
Recently, but it happens regularly. I just called it out last night,
and a lot of our patrons jumped into my defense and said they loved it.
It's funny, but at the same time, it's like, all right.
So what they're referencing is we do a Patreon exclusive podcast that we call Redemption House because it's like challenge adjacent. Mm-hmm. And so most of the time we ask if they have any questions, and they'll ask easy things. They're like, hey, what's your favorite cereal? And
that's
then,
the perfect one, Zach. Yeah. She did it on that exact question.
And then somehow it'll end up 7 minutes later, she's talking about how her grandma drove a car one time.
But even before that, where they asked for their favorite cereal, she's going to list 18 of them.
Yeah, no, they want one answer, and she does
one
that.
Answer.
But then what I told them, I was like, it's funny, yeah, but here's what happens behind the scenes is when we're recording and it's not video, when she feels like something's going on too long, she's like,
She's speeding us up.
Yeah, she's making hand gestures like, come on, guys, get it together. Let's not talk anymore. And I'm like, you just spent 8 minutes talking about something that had nothing to do with
Another Patreon question we had was something about, if someone were to move to Tennessee, what's a good place to move to? And she gave a geographical breakdown of like 5 different areas in Tennessee. I'm talking scenic routes, mountains, the diameter of said mountains, like everything. That just no one needs to know.
About Tennessee and passionate about cereal.
Listen, and we kind of got into it. Like, I guess it was last night. All my days are mixed together. The way that my brain, I am so detail oriented. I love to have even the most minute details of everything. It doesn't even matter if it's anything of any importance at all. I like to have all details physically possible. I just like to know it. And I don't like to be surprised by things. And the way that my brain works is when I get excited about something, I have so many different details of different things that are exciting me. And
he's already gone. He's already gone.
I know.
He's in his phone.
No, I'm literally listening. She gets excited. She's got all these details.
My brain just kind of spider webs, and all of my thoughts are going all these different places. It's just whichever thread is the largest, that's more demanding of my attention, I kind of lose control and I jump down that rabbit hole and I get into more detail oriented things, and it just ends up on a very completely different topic. And I just can't help it.
But then it gets personal sometimes too, to where we'll be talking about something challenge related, and then she'll be like, yeah, my mom, and it just goes into this like real deep kind of story about like, it's like, well, that's a little deep. I don't know. I feel bad because I probably wouldn't have shared something so personal, but she does.
Oh, but you can talk about your love life all the time.
It's different. I have no shame. I have zero shame.
A lot of hypocrisy in all forms. Okay, how would you guys like to close this out?
Listen,
Bye.
Wes, I don't even have the first semblance of a way to close it out, because typically when we do these, I have kind of an idea. We're like, hey, do you have a hard time out? You're like, no. And so we kind of...
You did that last time too.
We kind of try to usually end with like Patreon questions, and then that gives me an easy wrap up, and I can be like, hey, thanks for coming on with us. But this is so like out of left field. Here's the thing. This interview, people are either going to love or they're going to hate it.
But it's going to be talked about.
Yeah, that's the thing. They're like, why do I care about? Because every time we have someone on, we always get new listeners, right? Mm-hmm. And people are going to be like, why am I listening to an hour and a half of this guy from Tennessee who sounds like Ace Emerson?
Or George Bush.
Yeah, or George Bush, whichever one. Like, why do I care about his love life? Why does Wes care about his love life?
It's going to be so freaking funny. It's going to be so funny.
But
I think you need to explain.
I will say this in all seriousness. I'll say it. I don't care.
He loves you.
I get most excited about having you on because you are the easiest person to just shoot the breeze with on like whatever. Doesn't matter.
We're on like a couples, including you, Jake, as well as Chicago.
Yes.
We're fast tracking you guys from top 1,000 to 6-way vacation faster than anybody else.
Listen,
buddy,
man, we are 8 hours away. We can drive. We'll be there.
No, we're international buddies. We're going to Mexico.
I have a passport. I've never been to Mexico.
Yeah.
You would love it.
Yeah, Hannah's she went to Costa Rica right after we got married.
It was right before our first anniversary.
Yeah, and I think that's the only time she's been out of the country. I don't know if Jake's been.
I have not.
Jake's not been out of the country.
Costa Rica's great. Yeah, Costa Rica's great. There's just something, I don't know. We really like Mexico.
What part?
For the first time ever, I'm going to Cabo in a month. But
I've never been to Cabo.
I've done quite a bit of Mexico, like pretty much everywhere. But Cabo's good. It's my first Cabo trip in a month.
I've been to Cancun a few times.
Yep. I did all the spring break. I mean, back in the day, like all the spring break stuff was there. And then going to Arizona State, I'm driving distance from a couple areas there.
Yeah.
So I've done like pretty much every spot, and there's just something about it special.
Listen, you just let us know. we're good. Jake will finally get to go on a vacation with us, although none of us have met your wife. So that
who I was texting while Hannah was talking, she wants me to say goodnight to her, and she's embarrassed. She doesn't want to come in because she's probably sat around here waiting for me to finish and is just surprised about how long we've talked and is probably going to give me an earful. But she's most embarrassed by what she's wearing.
What is it? Is it like a Grinch outfit?
Kind of.
Oh.
It's the ugly ginger sweater of me that Bananas made and sent to her.
Gotcha.
Oh, but I really like that sweater.
If I feel like he doctored some of those photos that he put up, like changed some like contrast on them to make them look a little worse when you were he made you look a little redder than what was real life, I think.
Yeah. And people are like, "Oh, you're totally getting cut in." No.
Yeah.
No, he's just stolen my likeness and has made who knows how much money.
Which is not illegal, we found, because there's a lot of people that make bootleg Memphis Grizzlies stuff, and you can use someone's face, you just can't use any branding. So I think unless you know some like law that I don't know, he can do that. As you're a public figure, you can't do anything about that.
There's different. So I took an intellectual property class on this topic, and there is a gray area because it's a spectrum of public figures, all the way up to things like, okay, the president, you're allowed to do whatever the heck you want to him or her. But then the further back you go away from like the president, the more you get into this gray area.
Yeah.
And then a little bit of where he probably made. I don't care. Like, I think it's funny.
I think you should break the news that you're going to sue him on this podcast.
I'm not. I'm not. It just, that's not how we operate. And so it's a joke. And if he makes money off the joke, then I'm happy for him. And I like that to be those are above the waist jabs. They're not right hooks. They're not mean, and they're not bad. And if he makes a little bit of money from it, fine. Like, who cares? That's almost funnier. But if I was gonna make an argument, it would be in the ownership of the picture that he used.
Yeah.
Not necessarily my name, be the intellectual property of the photograph.
Yeah, because you could, if he licensed it through like Getty or something like that, that's different.
Which he didn't.
Yeah, no, there's no way he did.
He Googled it, found the ugliest picture of me he could find, and he made me this big put me on a t-shirt, put some bad ginger jokes on it, colored it green, sent my wife one, and made $40,000.
Hey, good for him.
Yeah.
You know, it's what you do. That reminds me, we have a whole West line of merch that we're going to put out and not pay you anything. And
as long as people don't think I made it.
You know what? I'm going to say designed by Wes.
It's going to say it across the back of the shoulder.
Yeah.
That would be the only thing that actually is not cool.
And we'll be sure to mention beta blocks in some form too.
Yeah, so that way when people search, they both come
they're
up.
They're actually made at Beta Blocks.
Oh yeah,
and shipped from.
Yeah, that's what you do now. It's just a clothing company. You kind of shifted your strategy.
I am going to launch some clothing for the first time ever, but yeah, probably not.
Be sure to throw some skinny jeans in there. We like skinny jeans.
I love me some skinny jeans, but no, these are like entrepreneurship stuff. Like.
Well, before we get out of here, do you want me to call you the next time we play tennis?
Is that the most metal thing that you can ask me?
No. I mean, I wasn't really planning on it being that. We just do that a lot now.
I'm not a big tennis guy, but I respect it.
It's just good because it's a way to like stay. Like, they both played in high school. I just kind of pick it up as we've done it. So we have fun with it. It's kind of an easy barrier to entry because it's not like insanely athletic to like start. So if you have friends who don't really play a lot of sports, it's kind of easy to get them into. But I mean, there definitely is
I could see picking that up at some point. My wife and I have talked about it because we walk. It turned into like we did it before lockdown, but then at lockdown we turned into like 3 mile a day walkers because we've got a park right next to our house. And it's a nice little loop, and there's several courts inside of the park, so we see it on a loop regularly, and it does look quite nice.
Here's your sign.
Yeah, we'll call your wife. And
we have extra rackets.
No.
Yeah. I know you can't afford it right now, so we'll loan you one.
We'll take care of that.
Yeah. Okay. Deal.
We'll do that. Yeah. So other than that, whenever we move up into your vacation tier, I don't know who we have to bump out. I don't know if there's competition we need to know about.
My wife, it does sound good because my wife and I are going on vacation. It's the first vacation that we've had since the honeymoon.
Really?
You were supposed to take her somewhere like after War of the Worlds.
I'm sure I might have said that.
I think you did. I kind of remember that now.
So the dog was very difficult to find babysitters for. So he was too big, too hard, too slobbery, ruin homes. He was and worth every one of those things personality wise, but was very difficult to find babysitters for. And so he was at the top of the why we don't take vacations list. And so we just had such a rough month. It was like, now is a good time to do that. And we're already talking, we like almost from a, we need it standpoint. We're dog people, we're talking about getting another dog. And so we had to
it's a good window.
We had to strike. It kind of similar to the window that we took advantage of tonight.
Yeah.
Where I could tell that if I didn't talk to you guys for 4 hours, that I was going to end up watching a bunch of Netflix. Now, fast forward to 3 days from now, I'm going to be back in the sketchbook. I'm going to be doing some really boring things. And I'm going to look back on this list of Jake coming on too strong and the hot chameleon and all this stuff. And I'm going to get a good little laugh out of it. But I will be too busy to hang out for this period of time.
Yeah, we get it.
That's why he's not going to give it to us.
But we'll be on your minds and in your heart.
Forever. I mean, because I'm at the beginning. This is a new sketchbook. I'm only.
So we're going to be there for a while.
I've got 3 or 4 months in this book. I'll put like one of those little ribbons on this page. So it just reminds me to go back to it regularly.
It's like your thing in like Inception that like brings you back to reality. Your little whatever totem or whatever it was.
Yeah, that's what this is. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm glad that this is a good positive note to go out on. I felt like you came in pretty hot. I felt personally that you were attacking me,
but all in good fun.
I missed all of that.
All in good fun.
And
Hannah won't go back and listen.
She will not.
She won't.
Oh well, what's the fun of that? I mostly was doing it to see what Hannah would say.
She will not go back and listen.
Listen, if it's for you, I actually will.
Okay.
And that's a pinky promise.
Okay. What I want. What I want. I guess it kind of depends on where I am in your all screen. What I want is for you to listen to it.
Okay.
And I want a good, solid paragraph about what you thought.
Okay.
We'll do that.
But I want it sent
via
a direct message from Zach's account because he's not active enough.
On which thing?
Facebook.
Yeah, okay. That's fine. We'll do that. You got to make sure you check those filtered requests because I don't think I've ever messaged you on there.
I think if we're friends, it goes to the thing.
Yeah, we are friends. I've tried to message someone else on there before, and it just
didn't get there.
I think it was Tyler Duckworth.
That you're friends with? Oh,
yeah.
He probably lied.
No, it's not even been read. Like it just never even showed up.
Yeah, you could turn.
I have a lot of those. I have tons of Facebook messages from people I'm friends with that I've never opened.
If I don't respond to it in a couple of days, email me.
Yeah, I've got your email. You send things
read
back
my
there.
Paragraph.
Yeah,
it'll be more than a paragraph. I promise you that.
Well, reassuring and insulting to her, but I'm here for it.
Wes, you've been nothing but a gentleman, except when you were really mean to me earlier. And
maybe I just needed to be here.
Other than that, I feel like we talked about a minute ago, people are either going to love or hate this. I feel like our patrons are going to really like it. I feel like new fans of the show, I'm going to have to do like an opening paragraph, like statement that's like, hey, this is weird.
You know what I think we should do is you should give me this file and let me post it on my Patreon.
As well,
really funny.
Afterwards, maybe like next week, just as a side thing.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Because I edit out the bathroom breaks and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll do that, and I might split it up into 2 parts, but I may keep it all as one because it's we're at 3.5 hours right now.
It's fine.
I think the joke deserves to be showcased to more.
I think that's
It's
fine.
a good joke.
I think a lot of people on your Patreon are going to be like, Why
What
do I
is
care?
this?
What is
I'll
happening?
explain it. I'll explain it.
Okay.
But it'll put some good eyes on a great team here. But I'm thinking that might be kill a couple birds with one stone.
I'm fine with that. We'll give you that juicy content you've been craving.
Where do you guys host it at?
What do you mean?
Where do you put the video? Like where does
We have a YouTube channel, and so so this will go up on Patreon, but it'll also go up on it'll be like private at first, so our patrons get to see it first. I don't use the Vimeo side of that just because eventually it'll go live on our YouTube channel, and we get a lot of SEO basically that way, just because we'll have your name and the challenge and all that stuff in there. And then people will then get really disappointed that we don't talk about the challenge. So
those people have a bad sense of humor.
Hey, you know what? I can't judge one way or the other. Only God can judge me, and you from the quotes that you completely take out of context. It's like you're Chris Hansen.
Doesn't it suck to have a podcast about reality TV and then someone uses reality TV techniques back at you?
Oh, that's a good burn.
I don't feel like that's a good burn. I just feel like
That's a good burn.
That's a good burn.
I know what I'm getting into with you.
Jake, that's a good burn.
That's great.
I've watched you enough over the years that I know your tricks. And so, this is more one-sided than anything. You may have listened to us in the past, but I've seen you, since
that sounds
Austin.
So creepy though, the way you're saying.
It's
Way
not
less
creepy.
than the fact that Jake shows up to his Fresh's workplace.
Oh, don't even get me started.
Yeah, don't even.
You know what, Han? That's coming from the girl that said, I don't know why she acted like that the whole time. And you come on here and now she's like, oh my God, Wes, let me just tell you, you are the chameleon.
Mm.
Can be.
You are the chameleon.
She goes as the wind blows.
All right, y'all. I enjoyed it. I'm out.
Go talk to your wife, because I don't want to be the reason that
Good
you get
Lord,
married
let her
again.
Go to bed.
Yeah. Okay. I'm out. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Wes.
That's the interview. Thank you guys for checking it out. Again, if you're new here, follow us on social media at Smashing Heads on Twitter, at Smashing Heads Podcast on Instagram and Facebook. And again, if you're not subscribed to us on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, please check us out there. Patreon.com is the best place to support us. Go to our URL. I think it'll be in the description of this video. It'll be in our show notes if you're listening to the audio version of this. But other than that, we want to say thank you for checking this out. I know it was strange, but I think that is in a good way. I think it's not something you'll get from any other challenge podcast. So we hope you enjoyed it, and we will be back with you guys soon.